All right, guys, we are going. I always try to wait a few seconds now because I realize that even if I say don't give you guys ads, YouTube will still give you an ad at the beginning of the stream. So people start off a little behind. So welcome in. We are doing the big one today. We are going to be ranking our favorite composers, which we did 18, 19, 20 months ago or something like that. Today, a little bit different. Let me show you the bracket first. So we have all the greatest composers. I took out a few people who lost badly last time around and replaced them with some people that were requested over time, like, filled in a few gaps. So we have 32 composers. First of all, 16 matchups, 32 composers, somewhat randomized actually at the beginning here because different than last time around, actually different than I've ever done on stream, is we're going to be doing a losers bracket, double elimination. So what that means, I'm not going to explain all the details, but basically just what it sounds like. You have to lose twice to be kicked out. So if you look at the first matchup and see Schubert versus Brahms, those two can't be first. It's okay. The loser will go down here to the losers bracket, and then over time, the losers will all play each other. Everyone who loses will come down here, and you'll end up with a winner of the losers who will play a winner of the winner. And the idea is everyone has to lose twice to get eliminated. So until you lose twice, you're still in it. So if you have a rough first round matchup, it shouldn't matter quite as much as usual. So can everyone hear me? Are we doing good? Are we like audio good? I'm guessing you guys are here. No one's saying in this chat they can't hear my voice or something, which is always good. I have a little bit more confidence in you guys because cheesecake is now winning. Cheesecake is definitely the superior dessert. You shouldn't have dessert that often. It's not good for you. But if you're going to have dessert, you should definitely have cheesecake. I kind of agree with the order. Cheesecake, brownies, and then pie and cake somewhere in there. So I have trained you guys well. I have my coffee. I'm not having cheesecake, but I'm having coffee late because we're going to be doing this for a bit here. And I think we're ready for the first poll. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this up and get started with the first poll. And then we will chat more. YouTube is reminding me how to do a poll and that my audience, wow, it's telling me I should do a members only live stream. That would really disappoint a lot of you guys right now if I do a members only live stream in the middle. I just started the live stream, YouTube. Man, chill. Okay, what'd I just do? Now I have to find my button again. Start a poll. Oh, I have to end my old poll. That's right. End poll. Okay, we're rusty here. Now, start a new poll. I had to end my my dessert poll. And we are starting off here with Schubert versus Brahms. Make sure you push the right button. I anticipate this one being pretty close, though if history has taught me anything, I know how you guys are going to vote. Let's see how the very first matchup goes. This is to determine who you consider your favorite composer. I mean, you can say the word greatest if you want to, greatest of all time. You can say I don't know. People get really finicky about that stuff. Just which one do you like the best? If you had to listen to a composer, who would you pick more often? Schubert versus Brahms. Who do you like more? We have only a few votes in here. I know there are more of you guys out there watching. There's a chance with the beginning of the live stream, people are a little behind with a voting live stream. Just to remind you, make sure you're not like 20 seconds delayed because of an ad or something. Skip ahead because if you're always delayed, you're going to be really confused. So we will give it a second, say hey to the people and everything. Are we basing this off piano pieces or everything? I would just say don't overthink it. That's my advice. If you're a piano player, like for me, I weight things heavier for piano pieces because I play more piano music. If I had to though make a tiebreaker between two pieces, two composers, I might use their other pieces. But I wouldn't stress too much about it. If you're like a vocalist and you like people who write vocal music more, that's totally fine. It's completely fine. Whoever you think is the best. So I wouldn't be too stressed. Yeah, I almost took Joplin off because last time he got crushed so much. You guys all hated on Joplin. I was kind of surprised. I really thought he would do better, but he did not. He got crushed last time. So but I left him on. Want to have faith in Joplin because I should have made sure he had an easier first round matchup, but it is double elimination. So, all right, it looks like we are close. It normally takes a while for people to start joining the live stream and all that stuff and the votes to start coming in. So if you are here, make sure you vote. Voting won't last forever, obviously, but it always takes a little bit to kind of get the first couple rounds are very light on the voting. So again, if I say for the 1,000th time, it doesn't really matter that much because, you know, this time we have double elimination. So we're going to go, it's within one vote. I don't like giving it to people within one vote. Schubert, if you don't know who Schubert is, I've done videos lately on the channel about Schubert. We are tied now. We are tied. I will not start out voting. Hello, TTCDS. Have you commented before? Did you change your name? TTCDS. I feel like your profile picture looks familiar, but I don't know your TTCDS. I'm trying to remember if I've seen your comment before. Let's see here. Schubert's up by 1 vote again. Schubert's up by 1 vote again. You should not be seeing any ads by YouTube unless I click them. Sorry if an ad interrupts it. Let me know if it does. It shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't have any interruptions except when you first start. You often get an ad. So, guys, we can't eliminate Schubert or Brahms based off 1 vote. We gotta have another vote. We can't just end it so easily. Okay, Schubert's up by 2. Schubert's up by 2. So to my great regret, I will let Schubert win. Though I like Schubert a lot too, but I really like Brahms. Oh, I haven't started the tournament yet, technically. Okay, so first round matchup, Schubert has won. I think, you know, that was a crazy close one. All I did was hit the randomize button a few times and made sure literally we didn't have like Bach, Beethoven, Brahms all against each other at the beginning. But I thought it'd be good. So I know Schubert versus Brahms was a terrible way to start, but really with a randomized thing, there wasn't much else to do about it. I didn't want to be overstressed. However, like I have mentioned, we're doing double elimination. So there will be a loser's bracket. So Brahms is hanging out there. I'm going to go ahead and start the poll. Rachmaninoff versus Poulenc real quick. But Brahms is not out thing. See, now Brahms is in the loser's bracket. If you've never seen double elimination, that just means Brahms is going to go against the loser of the second round. And they'll have a chance to kind of make it through the loser's round. So losers brackets are fun. At some point, I have a funny story to share about losers brackets. But oh, cool. Kind of new to the channel. Love your videos. Awesome. Well, welcome in. Nice. I introduced you to Beethoven sonatas. Awesome. Those are my favorite videos to make. Like if those were always the best performing videos, those are like my favorite videos to actually do. The just calling a sonata, going through what's cool about a piece, because I actually prefer to make those videos a lot more than like the tier list. Just the tier list tend to get new people to the channel. Like they're almost all new people, and so they're a good way, I think, to help grow the channel. But in general, I would much rather film a video like look at the first movement of this piece rather than a tier list. I feel like it's a little more like, you know, deep content. So okay, I think we can call this one for Rachmaninoff pretty safely. Rachmaninoff literally has all the votes. We will have to see Poulenc's ugly face though again a little bit because double elimination. So thankfully Brahms will get a beat up on his ugly mustache face again here in a little bit. I really don't like Poulenc. Poulenc is one of my least favorite composers. He stinks in every way. It's not his fault. It's because I played one of his pieces really badly and it made me angry at him. I'm blaming him for my problems. So that make any sense? It's not really. What am I just doing? Mendel's. I'm talking and spelling at the same time. It's not his fault. I had to play a Poulenc piece for a audition one time, and the only time I ever just totally blanked in performance and just stopped. I restarted. It was Napoli. I restarted and I butchered it again. I was so angry. So I was like, well, never ever played Poulenc a day since that. So currently listening to all 32 Beethoven sonatas. Awesome. I was listening to Beethoven earlier today and just smiling. All right. Up next at Prokofiev versus Mendelssohn. I could see this one being close. I could see some of you guys loving Prokofiev. Some people love Prokofiev. I'm guessing this is one of the most divided. Whereas Schubert and Brahms, you probably had trouble knowing which one even you wanted to vote for. Let's hit this. Poulenc versus Mendelssohn. I don't think most of you are going to be torn within yourselves. It might be close, but you guys know who you like more. And actually, people have been requesting a Mendelssohn video for a long time. And tomorrow or Saturday, It's coming out. I already filmed it, right? But I recorded a video where I talked about my favorite song without words from each of the 8 books. There are 8 different books, collections of them. So I go through my favorite one from each one. So that video is coming out tomorrow. So be ready for that, or maybe Saturday. So, ooh, this is actually close. Your vote matters. Your vote matters. Your vote matters. Mendelssohn's only up by 1. So yeah, I'm guessing if you like Poulenc, or not Poulenc, no one likes Poulenc. I'm guessing if you like Prokofiev, this is pretty obvious, right? You're clearly. Did I say that? Yeah. Yeah. Poulenc is living rent free in my head. Yeah, I just told the Poulenc story. They both started with P's. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Prokofiev has some great concertos. I'm guessing if you like Prokofiev, this is a really obvious choice. But Mendelssohn's a really tough matchup. I mean, we only have 32 composers. And we're talking like Baroque to, Prokofiev. So there's going to be only really good ones pretty much to knock out. I did take out a couple people who got crushed last time around. I don't remember if I took out Clara. Did I leave Clara in there? I did take out Clara. I think I replaced Clara with John Field to give him a chance because Clara got crushed last time. There was a couple. Mussorgsky maybe I took out in favor of... Took Mussorgsky out in favor of maybe Stravinsky. I replaced like 2 or 3 from last time that were not even close. Not even close. I thought it'd be good to take out. So, okay, Mendelssohn has now taken a pretty good lead, and Opus 109, Opus 111, they're all great. What is my favorite sonata? My favorite is Waltz 9, and that's partially I'm biased because I played Waltz 9. But honestly, it's really tight between Waltz 9, Opus 101, and then the last 3 are all great. And then obviously Appassionata is right there as well. So it gets really tough when you start like really splitting hairs there. Waltz 9, Hammer Clavier is great as well. I like it. I actually like the slow movement of Hammer Clavier is one of my favorite pieces. So, all right, we can put Prokofiev and Poulenc out of their respective miseries, and choose Mendelssohn as the winner for this one. So we're off to a good start. We got Schubert, Rachmaninoff, and Mendelssohn. You guys are voting very respectably. I would choose Brahms over Schubert, but it would be very, very slightly. So you said as a Schoenberg fan, oh, when's he? Yeah, he's coming up in a little bit. Though, he has a chance against Dvorak. I would say there's an outside chance. I mean, better chance than he had last time. I don't think Claire is on here unless I just missed her earlier. So we just have Schumann. I'm not going to keep saying Robert in here, but we have Robert Schumann. I mean, you can clump them both together and say both Schumanns versus good old George. The only one of 2 Americans on this list. So, if you want to keep the Americans alive, you got to vote for George. But I mean... He's going to get crushed by Robert Schumann. Robert Schumann is one of the greats. He thought he was going to pick the D major. Yes, that's my favorite. Yes, I love that. I love that sonata so much. I feel like that's going to become the meme with me, which I'm cool with if that's what happens. I feel like that's going to become my meme is like I said once, I love all the Beethoven sonatas. All of them, and this is probably my least favorite of all of them, even though I still enjoy it. And it has now morphed over the last year of my life into Ryan hates the D major sonata. So at some point I'm just going to have to own it and say, yep, the D major sonata stinks. That's why I think so. Oh, you meant Pastoral. Okay, I thought you were making the D major joke, because a lot of people make a joke now about like, oh, Ryan's favorite sonata is the number 7. Pastoral's up there too. Of the earlier ones, there's nothing earlier than Pastoral that I like more than Pastoral. It would definitely be in my top 10. It would be probably, I made a video of my top 10 favorite, I think. So I've ranked them all. It would be like S tier or right on the S tier for me, I think today. It would be like right with, oh man. It would be right with like 109, 110, and Opus 2, number 2. They're all probably in the same spot, roughly. Pastoral, by the way, if you don't know it. Oh, I don't have my piano mic on. Hang on. I have a mic to my piano, so you guys... You know what's crazy is I listened to the other day. I was talking to a student about Giel's. I hate saying his names. I feel like I'm always going to say it wrong, but Emil Giel's, Gielels, maybe Emil. And I was telling the student, I said, man, this guy is just like crazy good. Anytime he has a recording, at least listen to it because it's going to be impressive. Whether or not you agree with the tempo or anything, who knows? But he always gives such a good performance. Then we played his Pastoral because my student was working on Pastoral, and it was so different. He started off with like kind of staccato-ish and really slow. It works still, right? Because he always works. But it was like... So I was like, whoa, that's going to be so different. But the thing about Giels is I would say his pieces always work. And that's why I always say about him is like he always understands the drama so well. Okay, let's put Gershwin out with Misery. Poor George. There's a loser bracket. So in case some of you are confused about how losers brackets work, I've shown it a couple times, but I will show you now. We have a few people in here. Oops, let me select this one real quick. Schumann just crushed George. Robert has beat George. Down here, Brahms, Poulenc, Prokofiev, and Gershwin have all now dropped to the losers brackets, and they will have a chance to play each other. Now they will win, and the next round they will play the losers of the next rounds up here. So they will continue to drop down. Every person will have to lose twice, and everyone will lose twice. The only way someone will not lose twice would be if the winner literally wins everything, then wins their final matchup. But other than that, everyone will have a chance to lose twice. So, all right, up next here we have Grieg versus Ravel. Grieg versus Ravel. I think I know how you guys are going to vote. I love Grieg, but I think I've listed him as my top 10 composer, like probably about number 10, and definitely my dark horse. Like, oh, Yells was your teacher's teacher? Oh, that's sick. I wish he was my teacher's teacher. That's awesome. I have like a teacher's teacher. One of them is Chopin, and I have like Beethoven. So that's like my bragging point. But obviously, there's several teachers in between. We probably have lost connection a little bit, slightly. Maybe it's in my blood still. But that's pretty cool. Like someone who was living and performing not even that long ago. That's awesome. So yeah, he's great. Well, tell me how to say his name, Sky. That would be very helpful. So, all right, Grieg is like my number 10 composer. I love Grieg, but I recognize that he's not near as good or accomplished as Ravel. It's just a personal preference thing for me. So guys, go ahead and vote for Ravel. Knock out one of my favorite composers. I don't care. It's fine. I want to be a little upset about it. I'll be a lot upset, but I didn't know when I started this channel that not everyone loved Grieg. I always thought that Grieg was like everyone loved Grieg, but I have now learned that. Come on, guys. These are pity votes. These are pity votes. There you go. Now, no way. Last time we did this list, Ravel almost won. Maybe everyone who voted for Ravel unsubscribed from the channel because he didn't win and stopped following me. And only Grieg fans are left. No way Grieg wins this, right? I mean, I like Grieg. I think Grieg is awesome. But yeah, the Grieg piano concerto is awesome. The third movement is great. When you first hear it, you think it's not going to be as deep as the first and second, but it ends up being awesome. Well, I think you guys are giving me like, I despise Ravel. Why do you despise Ravel? What did Ravel ever do to you? I don't like Ravel as much as Debussy, which I know is not popular to say amongst piano players. Like, you know, like not just people who like piano music, but people who actually play it themselves. So yeah. You have no idea about how to pronounce Gales. That's why you should be here. You should be here to tell me how to pronounce words I don't know how to pronounce. Wow. Looks like Grieg might actually win this. You want to hear a hilarious thing? Like us classical musicians, our brains get so distorted, right? And you know the piece Unravel. I'm sure some of you have heard this piece, like a modern piece someone wrote called Unravel. Couldn't figure out for the longest time why someone wrote a piece called Unravel. Like, unironically, I probably spent a couple days of my life being like, maybe a few hours, but I feel like it was a few days being like, Unravel. Does the person hate Ravel? Are they trying to write a piece in the opposite style of Ravel? Are they trying to take a Ravel piece and then make it not like Ravel anymore? I was so confused. And then at some point, I think I looked at the word and I was like, oh, maybe it's just Unravel. That's great. So you misclick Grieg. Well, looks like Grieg is up by a few votes, so maybe the Revel people will show up later. But right now, Grieg, that is my biggest shock so far because you guys have shown me historically that everyone hates Grieg except me. So, all right, up next, we have one of the greatest composers of all time, Frederick Chopin. Against, I'm going to spill my coffee here. Against one of the not greatest composers of all time, who also has a hard name to say, Chanson. Oh, that's okay. Well, I was going to say after this vote, I won't pronounce his name anymore, but I will because I have the losers bracket. But go ahead, kick him out real quick. It's true. We are very tainted. We're very tainted. And we say words sometimes that we shouldn't say, and we don't realize that we shouldn't say them because we're so used to the classical music. We're just like, this is a normal thing to say, right? Like, nope, it's not. Well, a fourth of you voted for, come on. Guys. Oh, who, Nathan, who are you spiting? Who are you spiting? Me? Wow. Or Chopin. Yeah, he doesn't even deserve to be here when you put him up next to Chopin, but he is here. We have him. We have him in our tier list. So, well, I think we're safe to call this one early. You know, I think we're safe. The matchups are going to obviously get more intense as this goes along. But we have good old Chopin here. Now, real quick, before we go on to Mozart, I'll start typing Mozart versus Tchaikovsky, which I guess could be close. But while I do that, everyone reach over, hit like, and hit the heart button over and over and over again. So I'll tell YouTube to share this video with people. And then more people will join and we'll have more voting and millions of people will flock here. So, so just, you're spiting Chopin. Come on. They pronounced it Chopin. I mean, I know I don't say Chopin as Chopin would say it. Chopin is an impossible name to say because people want you to say it like he's French sometimes, but he wasn't French. I understand he lived in Paris for a very long time. So who knows? We say Chopin, but Chopin. So up next, we're going to listen to Chopin's concerto. Chopin concerto. Anyway, so hit the like button, hit the hearts. If you have anyone you want to share it with, you can think of that might enjoy it. Do so. That'd be really helpful. Obviously, the live streams are a lot of fun and even more fun the more people who vote. So Mozart versus Tchaikovsky. And we have one comment so far trying to skew the vote saying Mozart music doesn't have any emotion, in my opinion. So I have to go with Tchaikovsky. Well, I think Mozart's going to win. Sorry. Not Chopin. I say Chopin, Mozart. Mozart probably going to win. It looks good. Thank you guys for hitting like. The millions of people will start pouring in any second now. But welcome if you are new or not new, but if you just now joined. We are doing a massive voting for our favorite composers. We just started. We haven't eliminated anyone. Eliminated anyone too important. Brahms and Ravel. We'll talk about that later. But after we go to this first round, we have losers brackets this time. So if you feel like you're one of the people who last time joined too late and you were like, I joined too late, my favorite person already got eliminated. Actually, I know for a fact someone joined last time. It was sad because Ravel was already gone. You will have another shot. You can still win. You can go to the losers bracket, win all the way through. Hope the people who voted against you early all went to bed and have a chance to win in the end. So, all right, we can end this. Mozart got it. Mozart's doing great. I clicked the wrong button. Mozart, gotcha. Boom. If I click a wrong button, everyone just yell at me. I did click a lot of buttons. So, Glenn Gould has entered the chat. That's true. Do you guys know Glenn Gould's recording of Can you guys even hear that? You know what I'm talking about? And I think he's just trolling all of us and going, sorry, I'm not being awkward enough. I had to go like, I'm like, you're just trying to make people hate Mozart. Stop it. Stop trying to make people hate Mozart more. So, all right, we got Dvorak. How does that make you feel when I say it that way? How's that one? Dvorak versus Schoenberg. Schoenberg versus Dvorak will be an interesting matchup because I think not a lot of people like Dvorak, even though everyone should. And I think not a lot of people like Schoenberg, even though they shouldn't. But I think in the classical music world, we have to have more fun. And one of the ways we can have fun is to make fun of Schoenberg. We can all just unify and make fun of Schoenberg together. Even if you understand his music, even if you understand the deep art that's going on, we can still make fun of him and all work together. Yeah, isn't that the thing? In the wrong key, what I'm playing right now, I'm playing in the key of A. I think that's in the key of A. If I'm transposing it, then just be like, wow, you're so good at piano. You could transpose it. That could be like my challenge for the video. And just keep going through all the keys, you know? You want to keep making fun of Satie. I think we have Satie still. I don't think I took him off. So we will have plenty of opportunities to make fun of whoever we want to make fun of soon enough. I will make fun of Satie, as you all know. He's not my favorite either. So Dvorak has won, unsurprisingly. But don't worry. The one person who likes Schoenberg out there, he will get another lease on life. He is now being relegated to the losers bracket, where I'm sure he'll beat Tchaikovsky a second time around. So he'll have a chance to come back again. So we have A flat, B, D. We'll just do all the keys. What if we I'm a satirist. What if we play that Mozart piece in different keys in different hands? Like, it was E flat. But what if we do A flat and E flat at the same time? Or much more pretty would be like B and E flat. That was gorgeous. Okay, now you all know why you didn't vote for Schoenberg. Okay, now on to some Haydn versus Joplin. I love Joplin, but he's going to get crushed by Haydn. But Haydn isn't most people's favorite, so I don't think it'll be quite as big of a crushing as someone like Mozart, who would just probably be 100% of the votes. But I do like Haydn, so I would vote for Haydn, even though Joplin's pretty cool. Yeah. Whoa. Joplin's winning? I think this is gonna be one of these troll nights where if I say something, you are going to be like, no, we're gonna make him win. I should do some like reverse psychology all night long. I thought this was going to work tonight. It's one of these. Haydn and Joplin. I don't know if they're literal opposites. I mean, they both can write really happy music. They can both write music that's like just makes you happy. You listen to some Joplin and the whole purpose is just to be happy. You listen to some Haydn, sometimes the same way. But wow, this is actually close. I really thought Haydn would crush him, but this is the most voted on one too. Your vote matters. Your vote matters. Don't worry. Unlike when you live in a very blue state or a very red state in America where your vote doesn't matter, your vote matters here. Every vote counts. You don't like either one, so you're just going for Joplin? Why don't you like Haydn? You can't deny his symphonies and sonatas. You know who I'm talking about? I don't know. Haydn's not overrated. Poor Haydn. Well, there are 16 votes, which is the most of any vote. And so we have moments, literally moments, to pull within one vote, or else I'm going to have Joplin win. Wow. Can any of you even name more than 2 pieces by Joplin? Anyone? Anyone can name more than 2 pieces by Joplin? They're, the 2 rags. Really? Yeah, Maple Leaf Rag is popular. So is the other one. But more than 2, I guarantee you can all name like 50 pieces by Haydn. You might not even think you know Haydn, but you can name 50 pieces by Haydn, or actually 52 maybe, 62. You know? All right, you proved me wrong. I've heard of Magnolia Rag. I've heard of maybe Silver Swan, but not the others. But you all can name tons of Haydn pieces. You can name Sonata 1, Sonata 2, Sonata 3, Sonata 4, Sonata 5. Hello, Vienna Lou. Welcome in. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Symphony 1, Symphony 2, Symphony 3, Symphony 4, Concerto 1, Concerto 2, Concerto 3. I mean, I think Haydn is top 10, but I think a lot of people just don't get. You can name Sonata 1, you can name Sonata 2, Sonata 3, Sonata 4, Sonata 5, Sonata 6, Sonata 7. So, okay, guys, you know the rules. It's tied. I will count down. At the end of the countdown, we will have to do a 10-second revote if it's still tied. So, as always, don't wait too long to vote, because if you're like, I'm going to wait till he says 1, there's a delay. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. We have to do a revote. The way revotes work, or recounts, or re-election, or whatever. I don't live in a state that has to do this every single year, so I don't know what the official name is. But we're going to do a revote, a recount, not a recount, but a re-election. When I hit go, everyone's voting for Haydn because they love Haydn. I'm going to click go, and we're about 10 seconds, and then I'm going to stop it. Okay, even if it's within one vote. Ready, set. I don't give in unless someone wins by 2. And that's kind of my rule, because I feel like you should at least have to win by 2 votes. So I wait, and then if somebody gets the second vote, I stop it. But that didn't happen. So that's just the rules. It's the way it's always been. Haven't you been around? Okay, we're going. Click vote. If you want Joplin to win, just click vote and he'll win. If Joplin wins in the next round, he'll go against Scriabin or Satie. So he actually has a pretty good chance of winning 2, which would be pretty cool, to be honest with you. I do like Joplin. I just didn't expect him to win, and also Haydn's a top 10 for me. So I would vote for Haydn, but he's not like egregious. He's not going to hurt my feelings if you guys vote the other way around. So I'm not going to look. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Joplin. The exact same breakdown. Gotta find the right button. Joplin, and Haydn goes down to the losers bracket. What I have learned in the history of doing this channel, John Leopold, my friend, is that people don't like Haydn as much as me. People really, because I think Mozart supersedes outside of keyboard music into symphonic music so much more, and Haydn does in string quartets. But I feel like Haydn, there's so many people who love, like, I can't write and type at the same time. People who like his tons of romantic music, and they might like Mozart, and Mozart's more of like a household name, and people just don't care about Haydn, which makes me sad. I actually, in my personal top 10 composers list, I have Haydn 1 above Mozart, which is my like controversial take, But yeah, people don't care about this. Yeah, poor Papa Haydn. What if Beethoven never had Haydn take lessons from? Maybe he wouldn't know how to write a C major chord. You can't prove or disprove that theory. I mean, you can kind of disprove it because he wrote music before he met Haydn, but you can't, with video evidence disprove that one. So, all right, we have Scriabin versus Satie. Do it. Scriabin versus Satie. I don't think this one will be close at all. Like, at all. Wow. Haydn walked so Beethoven and Mozart could run. Or a better way to say that is, why couldn't Beethoven find his teacher? because he was hiding. Right. Wow, this one's close too. You guys are voting for Eric? Do I have to pull up Did Nopa 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 Nopati and play it for you guys to convince you how bad it is? Did you guys forget how bad that piece is? I can play it for you if you want to. I haven't played it for a long time, but I could pull it up and sight read it with my eyes closed. Remind you guys how terrible it is. Wow. I didn't know you guys hated Scriabin so much. When I ranked Scriabin, my personal tier list of composers, Scriabin was one of the most commented. You're a huge idiot. Who's hosting this channel doesn't deserve to play piano because he didn't put Scriabin in the S tier. One of the most hate I received doing a YouTube channel was because I didn't put Scriabin in the S tier. There's some people commented and well, you don't know anything because Scriabin's the greatest. And here you guys are proving my point because he's getting beat by Eric Satie. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Well, Satie has now won. I feel like we just voted for the fun guy there. At least Satie makes us laugh. That's shocking. That's okay. That's okay. By the time more people join later, if they're really upset about it, we can always, give them another chance. So we have another matchup here. Beethoven. Did I even write the other name? Because I don't think he really stands a chance. Beethoven versus Mazion. Now, if you guys let Mazion win over Beethoven, I know this is not a legitimate poll, and you guys are just trolling people. So Beethoven has to win this. There's at most 3 of you should think Mession's better. Okay. Some form of order has been restored. It's fine if 4 people vote for Messiaen. That's okay because, if you're in a certain type of music, bad music, you might think he's a better composer than Beethoven. So it's okay if there's some of you who think that. Because a certain percentage of people can be wrong. But yeah. If Beethoven didn't win, I would just stop the live stream. Or I would just start playing Beethoven. If he dropped down in votes, I would just start playing Beethoven's music until you guys vote him to the top. So, all right, I think we can probably call it for Beethoven. I don't think, yeah. Vote for Beethoven. Vote for Beethoven. Beethoven, I think Beethoven's going to take this one. All right, we'll call it. We'll call it for Beethoven. It was a close one. Wow. Good job voting, guys. That's the most votes we've had so far. So keep it coming. Keep hitting hearts and likes and all that boring stuff you have to do to tell YouTube everyone needs to watch this video. Who's Messiaen? He's a guy who tried to compose. He's not that important. Don't worry about it. You could go your whole life and never listen to one of his pieces, and I'm pretty sure you'll be okay. John Field versus Debussy. Do you go for extreme innovation in the early 1900s or extreme innovation, in the early 1800s with Field, or extreme innovation in the late 1800s with Debussy? Yeah. You missed Rachmaninoff earlier. Rachmaninoff was number 2, won the first round. While Field gets crushed by Debussy, we'll review what happened. So Schubert and Brahms was the first round, which was really mean, but we're doing double elimination, so Brahms wasn't out for good. So mean matchups aren't as big of a deal, double elimination. So Schubert, Rachmaninoff. Mendelssohn beat Prokofiev. A little surprising, but not that close, actually. Schumann beat Gershwin, which was closer. Grieg beat Ravel. That was a shocker. Chopin obviously beat that random French dude. Mozart, and then you guys are basically caught up with here. So, yeah, Field has some good pieces, I got into Field a few months ago, 6 months ago, whatever, a year ago, and gave him more of a listen and played some of his music. And I'm like, wow. So many of Chopin's nocturnes seem directly influenced by Field's nocturnes, but Chopin's are just so much better. So much better. Chopin versus Beethoven. Hopefully we get that matchup later. All right, we'll get this to Debussy. We got plenty of matchups. No point of lingering on the obvious one. So this could be interesting. Did we have this matchup last time? Wait, does anyone remember? Does anyone have a killer memory you can remember? I feel like we had Handel versus Stravinsky literally 18 months ago. I think we did this matchup. Someone has to go check out the last video and see. Rachmaninoff must win this whole thing. I don't know. Vienna Lou, were you the one last time you said you had to go to bed because it was like starting so late? Was that you? Were you the one who was like, parents are going to kill you if they found your stand up later? Was that you, or is that someone who also had a pink? Like your avatars are so little on my box on my screen. All I can see is this pink, and I don't know. Is there an owl? Maybe an owl. Handel is beating Stravinsky by 1. Oh, by 2? By 1. By 1. Okay, that was you. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Elijah, welcome in. For some reason, I missed you chatting earlier. Welcome. I was hoping you saw it. So, Vienna, I thought of you in particular because I was like, not you in particular, but everyone who was like, we're going to bed, but including you. I was like, I'm going to have to try to start this at like 8:30 because a lot of people at 11, a lot of the Americans are going to bed, and then like, not all the Europeans are awake yet. So I was like, I'm going to try to get this at 8:30. It's tricky, but the room got set up barely in time. So, yeah, Elijah, you had to go to bed at 2 a.m. You were good. All right, I think Handel has this by 2 votes. Okay, now it's 3 votes. We can call it. This one's close. Handel's good. Guys, if you don't know Handel, he's good. The problem with Handel, if I just had to tell you, I don't want to diss him too much because I want to like hurt his chances later on. But my personal problem with Handel is that this isn't really a problem. He didn't write a lot of music that's advanced for us to play. And I think that's why Handel has like issues with fame. Like, there's like the Harmonious Blacksmith, but he's not like Bach where he just had this whole wealth of pieces to play. You just feel... He just like feels like hard to get his stuff concertized because you run out of advanced keyboard music quickly. Now I understand he wasn't like a keyboard first composer in lots of ways with all the vocal opera-ish oratorio things he wrote, but man, yeah, it's sad. I wish he wrote more because the stuff he did write. What I'm saying is what Handel did write, I really like. I just wish there was more. There's some composers like that, right? We are like, oh, it's so good. But there's just probably not enough of it for me to consider him great. So, yeah, Alcon's on the list. I thought of people who complain when I don't mention Alcon. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, Liszt wrote really hard music, and 5 comments will go, Alcon! And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't bring up Alcon every single time I talk about hard piano music. But Alcon is here. Alcon versus Bartok. I could see this being close. I'm not going to say who I would vote for. Diss any composer as long as it helps Rachmaninoff's chances. Not any composer. There'll be one that I won't. All right. Bartok versus Alcon. I'm not going to say. Thanks, Vienna. Very nice of you. Catching up on comments. It's close. Unfortunately, with we just got started. I'm already mostly out of coffee. Zane went out there like that. Like if I have something in front of me, I'm going to drink it. If I have like a bottle of water, it'll just be gone. So like I can't just refill something unless I know I want to drink it because I will just absent-mindedly drink all of it. So I filled this coffee up thinking, man, I'm going to space this out for the whole, oh man, like I probably shouldn't make another pot of coffee this late. So, guys, it's tied. Wow. Both these composers are too messy. Do you know Bartok's Romanian folk dances that are the piano version of them? Because some people who don't like Bartok, I say Rachmaninoff. I've already had my coffee and I can't even talk right. Have you heard Bartok's Romanian folk dances? How's it go? Wow, I can't think of the first chord. Like maybe. That one. Do you know that one? I think it's really good. People who are like not into Bartok's style that much, because they maybe only know the really weird stuff. I think it's a really good one. They kind of get into his. It's still weird, especially the slow one is really weird. I think it's the third one is really weird. But such a good like introduction to his different style, but it's very good. Like for example, can I pull this one off? The it's really cool. So I'm not playing it obviously correct from 1-year-old memory, but if you don't know that one, I'd say check it out. So Bartok, he's up by 2, guys. I'll give you a few more seconds if you want to save Alcon's life. I mean, he will go to the losers bracket, and I'd say he has a pretty legitimate chance because he'll go to the losers bracket and go against Stravinsky. So, he has a good chance of making it several rounds. Double elimination is much nicer when you get a rough first round matchup. So, all right, this has got to be Bartok. So, Bartok won this round, but again, we got the double elimination. Everyone who's losing will have another chance. All right, guys. One of the most profound composers of all time versus Bach. John Cage versus Bach. Who will win? John Cage versus Bach. I wonder. This is going to be close. I mean, I really like Allegro Barbaro too. I think Allegro Barbaro is very cool, but I understand it's offensive, like sound wise, just like jarring. I shouldn't say offensive, but it's jarring. But sometimes Bartok is more about the rhythm and the drive in those pieces than the exact notes. Which is why I like Bartok's ugly stuff a lot more than Schoenberg's ugly stuff, because Schoenberg's ugly music sometimes can be random notes. It feels random, right? I understand there's a whole system to it. It feels random, but also the rhythm feels random sometimes, so you don't really get into a groove. But if it's like harsh and moving a lot, that can be cool. But John Cage, come on, guys, have you ever heard living room music? Clearly you guys don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, this is Bach. Easy Bach. I support you guys. I don't know who voted for John Cage, but that's hilarious. But yes, obviously Bach. Bach is another one that people comment sometimes whenever they don't like one of my opinions on YouTube. They comment, well, you guys are going to listen to a bro who says Bach like a chicken. I'm like, look, we have ways we say words. I'm sorry. We say Beethoven. We don't say Beethoven. The Germans do. And Mundschein is not a Beethoven. We don't talk that way. We say Bach. I can say Bach. Want me to, but it's a little scary. Scarlatti versus Liszt. Oh, let's see what you guys do with it. Scarlatti versus Liszt. In a sense, in a very weird way, these are extremely similar composers. In one sense, you can't get further apart, right? Scarlatti versus Liszt. But if you compare them to what was going on, like composers in their same style, like if you compare Scarlatti, not such style, but era, if you compare Scarlatti to his contemporary Bach, Scarlatti is a way less serious, way less dense and complicated, and way more flashy and fun. Like his music can be really impressive. So it's funny comparing Liszt to Chopin. You could say some of those same things. So that's kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny they're matched up against each other, because in some ways they have a very similar, the way we talk about them is very similar at times, because we often compare Liszt to Chopin, whether or not that's fair. They were almost the exact same age and composed at the same time. So, but Scarlatti is going to not pull it out against Liszt, and I don't think he should. I would vote for Liszt as well. I was just saying it's interesting. So, all right. That is the first round of everyone's had one go. Every single composer's had one go. We have our second round of the winners is in place. Remember, all the winners right now are going to lose at some point and drop down here to the losers bracket. So I believe the way I Googled this, because I know what double elimination is, but I wasn't sure how you should do it. And it seems like most people say you should immediately go down and do the losers bracket first round, because if you don't, you're going to end up with all these winners and then backtrack to the very beginning and do all the losers. So I think it does make sense at the end of it to probably jump down right away and do the losers bracket. So we are going to go to, everyone. No, we're not doing Rachmaninoff. Yeah, calm down. Rachmaninoff might lose a Schubert, but that's going to be a while. We got to do the losers first. We're going to drop down here and deal with our losers next, okay? Now, I call them losers because they lost, okay? Don't do a soundbite of me later calling Gershwin a loser, okay? I don't think Gershwin's a loser. Moy, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for the live chat. Okay, you can pick who you want to win, Moy. I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you. We have Brahms versus Poulenc. I want to put an E at the end because it just looks like there should be an E there. But we have Brahms versus Poulenc for the losers bracket. So what that means is if someone who wins is that they're sitting pretty well. But if you lose now, you are out for good. So this is your last chance, really. You can't lose twice. Everyone, the only way you get eliminated is to lose twice. Cool. Brahms versus Poulenc. This shouldn't be close at all. In fact, I might just, do an executive order and have him win. So thanks again, Moy. I really appreciate it. The thing is popping up reminding me. So thank you so much. And we have Brahms is not going to lose. You mean like this round, or you mean ultimately? Because he will lose eventually. But I think Brahms is going to do really well in the losers bracket. If I had to anticipate it, I know everyone's trolling today, but as of right now, Brahms is the strongest loser. Brahms, Ravel, stick out, Tchaikovsky. Yeah, the losers, those are like the strongest ones. So Elijah, you know what we need to do? We need to do a live stream called Getting Elijah live stream to get you to like Brahms. We need a dedicated live stream to try to help you because, you need to, your soul needs to be saved. You need to get to loving Brahms. Okay. Brahms is awesome. Brahms is like one of the greatest composers of all time. So we just need to fall in love with Brahms. Did you do your assignment? I assigned you the second piano concerto and the third piano concerto, I believe. So did you do your assignment? Because if not, you had to vote for Brahms. That's the rule. All right, Brahms obviously crushed Poulenc because Poulenc sucks. Brahms is on to the next round. So whenever we get a new loser up here, that's going to be a really mean matchup. The loser of Schubert versus Rachmaninoff is going to. Oh no! They'll go down here. This will be okay. We'll get into that later. I don't want to look ahead too much. I forgot it's going to reverse it down there. So, Brahms' second and third piano concerto. I like B flat a little more, but yeah, listen to either one of those. And then if you still don't like them, there might not be any hope for you. So we just got to work on. So honestly, it's been a good running joke as I have you coming back and not liking Brahms over and over again. Okay, Prokofiev versus Gershwin. Two names that are hard to spell because I really want to do, Prokofiev differently. And I also really want to put a German C right there, Gershwin. But I've looked 1,000 times and there's never a C. There should be, but there's not. Prokofiev versus good old George Gershwin. This could be close. Gershwin got crushed the first round, so I don't know what's going to happen here. Each must win. Probably not going to happen. Actually, don't know who's going to win. I would lean towards Prokofiev is probably going to win. I think. I know, yeah. Rachmaninoff's the one too where you can I think I told you guys this before, but one time my dad was like, spell Tchaikovsky. And I thought I knew how, so I spelled it. And then he's like, no, it's wrong. And he showed me a book. But then I found out later he actually had two different spellings in two different books. And I was like, that was mean. So whatever I did was wrong. Am I saying Brahms 2 and 3 and there's only Brahms 1 and 2? Am I being stupid? I'm talking about Brahms B flat. I'm talking about D minor. I should say the keys. Sorry if I'm saying 2 and 3. Is there not 3? What am I thinking of? Am I thinking of rock 2 and 3? I'm thinking of B flat and D minor. Those are the pieces in my head. So if it's whatever those are, someone can remember Prokofiev 2 exists. Prokofiev 1. Prokofiev knocked out Gershwin. So poor Gershwin. It makes sense. It makes sense, but it's always sad to see him go. So, all right, guys, get your French hat on. Your French, become Frenchified. I made French fries earlier. I made homemade French fries. I don't know if you make homemade French fries. Is that like, does that make you classier because like you're home cooking with like grease popping and everything, and like I hand sliced the potatoes? Is that like a classy thing to be like, I made homemade French fries? Or is it that like a lame thing to be like, I made French fries? You know, is that like real American, you know, to make French fries? Of all the things I could have made, I made French fries. I should have made like, what would be something with a potato that sounds more elegant? Not tater tots. Not that for sure. Anyways, though, let me know if that makes you sound culinarily an expert or not to make French fries. So we have Ravel versus Sun Tzu. I would advise you to vote for those are home fries. Yeah. Is that a thing? Yeah, that's a much better name. So we are voting for who you like the best. Like, you know, like it's okay if you're a piano player. Like I'm a piano player, I give preference to their piano music. Totally fine. If you get preference to piano music, that's okay if you're a piano player. So whichever you kind of like the best. I wouldn't overthink like we're doing only piano music. But if you're a piano player and you want to skew towards piano, that's fine. So that's my advice. All right, one of the Frenchmen must fall. You hate Ravel and Saint Saëns. Ravel and Saint Saëns. Yeah, homemade French fries. They were good. I definitely wasn't brave enough. I didn't have the cast iron on hot enough. Also, I was being lazy. If you want to like really watch them, you can turn the heat on really high and it more fries them. I was like being lazy and just turned it on low and like went to the other room. So they were a little bit like mush fries, but it's fine. You know, you put some stuff on them, make them taste good, oil and stuff. So yeah, no, it was fine. Wow, Ravel is doing great. I would agree Ravel by a mile in this case. I like Ravel's concertos a lot. The main reason I would vote for Ravel is his concertos. So, all right, we'll call it for Ravel. He's got a good lead, and I don't like Cinch Song anyway, so I don't want to give him a chance. So, I feel like this loser bracket, so far, it's almost more obvious in the first bracket. We have Tchaik versus Schoenberg. If I knew how to make the O with the dots over, I could do it. Does anyone know the Alt key? Is it like Alt 242? O242? Oh, that was the wrong kind of O. It's not O242. We can call him. I don't even know what accent that would be. That's hilarious. Let's just leave it. Tchaikovsky versus Schoenberg. All right. Well, I don't think this will be close. I like to leave Tchaikovsky on there though, just to beat him up. You know what I mean? Like 12 votes immediately for Tchaikovsky. Does anyone know the alt code? Any Germans out there? Though it's the middle of the night for you guys. I have to type all the time in our keyboards and have to use an alt 024 something. Alt 214? Oh, nice. Or this could be a shocked face with little eyes. Even cooler. It's a capital one, right? That would be a really weird way to write his name. We had, gotta do this. And then alt. There we go. That's peak right there. It's like Schoenberg. No, I like leaving Schoenberg on there just to remind everyone that everyone hates him. So when I do a YouTube video and I make fun of Schoenberg, and I can honestly say I know this is like terrible for some of you. I enjoyed studying Schoenberg's music in theory. I thought it was really cool. I just don't think lots of the set theory is fun to listen to. But every time I say that in a video, a whole crowd of people come out and tell me that I'm a cave troll or something. So I like to just, test the waters once in a while. Alt 246. Oh, there you go. All 246. That's my. Well, thankfully, I never have to type it again today. So at least we tried. Bye, Schoenberg. Everyone say bye in your favorite set theory 12 tone. I guess not set theory. Your favorite 12 tone set. You know, that say some goodbye song to him. That is how I say farewell to you, my dear Schoenberg. Haydn versus Scriabin. I don't know. I just don't know. What I do? Scriabin has the word bin in his name for a reason. Schoenberg's a musical Sudoku puzzle. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it. I like it. Once you put it together, you can appreciate it. Maybe. It is fun. There's some fun element about seeing how it all works together. I do enjoy that to a certain degree, but yeah. I do I enjoy listening to his music? Well, here's my test. Do I ever pull it up and listen to it for fun? It's kind of like there's like some board games I really like, and I tell myself I really like them. Then I'm like, in the last 3 years, have I ever once actually gotten this game out and played it? Same with, I use that same logic with music, right? If I'm like, oh, I really like this, and I'm like, yeah, it's been years since I've actually just turned it on and listened to it for fun, not because of a job, not because I was accompanying someone, but I just chose on my own to go to it and listen to it. And if I can say I haven't done that for years, probably don't really like it. So, all right, there we go. Redemption for Haydn, guys. Congratulations. Redemption. Haydn needed some redemption here because he got a little crushed the first round, undeservedly so. So I'm glad that Haydn was able to kind of come back a little bit. We have a few more losers. So Scriabin is out for good. Up next, we actually have a fascinating matchup of Messiaen versus John Field, which is fascinating because neither of these composers are super well known. Neither one are, you still don't know who Messiaen is. He's fine. You don't have to know who he is. He could see colors, and apparently that makes his music good. That's all that I know about Messiaen. No, I mean, I know more than that, but I have studied some organ music, and you know, it is more interesting on the organ, I would say, what he did. But yeah, versus John Field. Yeah. The crazy thing is one of them will make it on to the next round because we're doing double elimination. The crazy thing is someone is going to have the right to actually go on, which neither of these composers are probably popular enough to go on. But John Field is like worth listening to. He's pretty cool. So he's kind of the guy that's credited with making or at least coining the term nocturne. And if you listen to his nocturnes, you don't want to be over crazy about like every single one of his nocturnes got used by Chopin. But if you listen to them, you definitely feel the stylistic influence, which is partially maybe a direct influence, but also it's so proving influence in music is a really difficult thing to do. It's very challenging to prove 300 years ago, 200 years ago, this affected this. Okay, that's just like a good principle to remember. It's really hard to prove a direct comparison, but what you can see is some of Chopin's style was in force 10 or 20 years before he started composing, and that's why I think it's so interesting about maybe he was directly influenced by John Field, but also maybe there was, at least we can say, hey, people were doing some of this stuff before Chopin, which I find really interesting. So it's cool to listen to. Very cool. I mean, Chopin's nocturnes are better, I think, but it's always unfair to compare someone who also composed later. But they composed, some of their pieces overlapped, and Chopin's a bear there too. So, but you know what, John Field, don't worry about Chopin, Johnny. You have made it to the next round, which is pretty impressive. So we have two more matchups in the loser brackets. Thank you guys for all the hearts and the likes and everything. There have been tons today, so super appreciated. That helps YouTube share with more people. We're going to get back up here to the top and do some damage to our favorite composers in a second, but we have two more matchups before we get there. We have Stravinsky. I spell the whole thing out. Stravinsky. Oopsie. What did I do? I have to like reach around. I know you guys can't see my struggle, but I have to reach around my microphone and type. And so it's a struggle. Stravinsky versus Alcon. How much do you like Rite of Spring? 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see what happens here. I think Alcon's going to win, but I really don't know. I'm sure in a group of non-pianists, Alcon would great, right? Or Alcon would get crushed. But in this, it'd be much different. Yeah, Messiaen is like early 1900s, right? I don't know when he was born, but I feel like he was early 1900s, like born to compose through the middle. But I honestly don't know. Here, I'll look it up. We'll look up a Wikipedia article while you actually. This is a close vote. Alcon versus Stravinsky. Messiaen is someone who at one point I knew when he was born. I think I looked at one of his organ pieces and I was like, I could never play that. Hey, I was right, 1908. But he lived a lot later than I thought he did. He didn't die until 1992, but he was born in 1908. So I was right about that. But when did he put out his most famous works? I'm guessing probably the, most people like, 20s, 30s, 40s. I don't think he was particularly old before he became famous. So, I don't think that's a problem. So, I don't know. Does anyone know like when he wrote his most famous pieces, his organ music? He claimed he could see colors. He was synesthetic, and so he was really into like colors. So he also has some cool bird music, and his bird music is actually kind of interesting. So I will give him that. So all right, Alcon versus Stravinsky. It looks like Stravinsky has it by 2 votes. I'm going to call it 5, 4. Oh yeah, Firebird's awesome. I don't know. The live stream is always delayed a little bit. I can't help it being a little delayed. Often you don't notice live streams being delayed because we don't vote on things. But it seems like there's probably like a 10-second delay normally. If it's more than that, I would try fast forwarding and seeing if for some reason you're a little behind, but it shouldn't be more than 10, 12 seconds. That's, I think, normal. If it's more than that, then YouTube is being weird. So Stravinsky. Yeah, I was going to say Firebird. Firebird's amazing. I mean, you responded to that pretty quickly to me saying this in real life, so I don't think you're that delayed. It's definitely going to be. It's always going to be a little delayed. YouTube's not TikTok. It's not not like real time. All right, Stravinsky won barely won. So one more matchup. John Cage versus Scarlatti. I think Scarlatti should win this one, but I will see what you guys say. Here. So, what's with the Ravel hate? Hey, Ravel made it past this round. Can you guys see this on here? Cage versus Scarlatti. Yeah, you can see it at the bottom. I know if it was like cut off or not. So, all right. So if you are just now joining us, we are finishing. It's actually our halfway point, I think is the way this works. We are finishing our first entire round. We start up here at the top. At our first round, we are doing double elimination. So we came down here to the bottom, and we are now doing our second, the losers brackets. At first, all the people who lost the first round, they're not out for good. They got to have another chance. So we have all the winners here. They will go up against the losers of the second round. So it all works out like magic on this website. So right now, what's the poll? I don't even know. Oh my goodness. Scarlatti is crushing Cage. Wow. Yeah. Rachmaninoff versus Schubert's next. So get your votes ready, folks. But first of all, we got to say Scarlatti crushed Cage. Man, I didn't see that coming. Good job, guys. Scarlatti's someone that you want to do well, but you just never know because it could just be a group of people who are like, who? Scarlatti, who? My favorite Scarlatti composer is apparently, Scarlatti composed for the Queen of Spain, supposedly, right? And one of my favorite Scarlatti stories is that halfway through his compositional career, he stopped doing as much hand crossing in his pieces. And legend goes, at least this is what I was told by my piano teacher, one of these piano legends that could be true, we don't know. But she got really fat. She was so fat she couldn't do hand crossing anymore. So he stopped writing it because you don't really want to remind the queen that she can't cross her hands over top of each other to reach high notes. It might have been a princess, not a queen, but that is one of my favorite classical music stories. Like, you don't really want, what I'm saying? If you were a composer and you were like, you wrote a piece for the queen, she was really struggling playing the high notes with her left hand because she couldn't cross over, you might cut it out and save your own neck or something. So, all right. This is a big one. Is everyone prepared for this? I don't know if you guys can actually emotionally handle this moment. Whatever happens, people are going to be really upset because one thing I know, people love Schubert, and they love Rachmaninoff. So I randomized the list. Keep in mind, before you get mad and delete your YouTube app, the loser will drop down here and crush Scarlatti in the next round and have another chance. You have to lose twice. So everyone gets to, even if you lose in the second round, it's still double elimination. So no one's eliminated for good. Everyone who won the first round has a luxury of still having a loss in their back pocket. So we have Schubert versus Rachmaninoff. I feel like I've covered Schubert when the channel first started. The first chunk of videos I did, I definitely covered Rachmaninoff more, but lately I've been doing a lot more Schubert. So I don't know what the audience of that brings in certain people, I feel like that does. Hey, I click go YouTube, go. I feel like that does have something to do with it once in a while. I'll cover someone and then that person will do, more people who like that person will come to my channel, agree with what I say, and that person has a better chance. So, oh goodness. Whoa. Rachmaninoff crushing it. Wow. Isn't this little blue dot really annoying, guys? You see this little blue dot? It's driving me crazy, but I can't get rid of it. YouTube is going to remind me this entire live stream. It's going to say, you should click this button and turn this stream into a members only stream. Could you imagine in the middle of this video, we're all having a good time and I'm just like, you know what? YouTube has reminded me 45 times now to try a members only live stream. I click the button and all the fun just ends because, or if I accidentally miss the start new poll and I hit this, stop reminding me every second. It's like, do you want to do a members only live stream now? Like, no, we're doing an epic bracket. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I like that comment. Sorry, Schubert. Didn't mean to say you sucked. I just want Rachmaninoff to win. You just summed up American politics right there. You're just like the whole election. I hate you. You suck. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. And then the moment the election's called, it's like, you gave a good fight. You were a worthy opponent. And what are you talking about? You hated this person 2 minutes ago. I know Schubert is so good. This is really disappointing, but also it's the matchup. But I will remind you guys for the 7,000th time, it's okay. He has another chance. Schubert has dropped down to the loser's bracket where he will destroy Scarlatti in the next round, and he has to lose twice. So, Beethoven and Rachmaninoff might be on a collision course for each other, right? It just makes sense. Everyone has to lose twice. So, yeah. So we have the Mendelssohn versus Schumann. Two similar-ish composers in that they were both piano composers who are almost just as well known for what they did in the world as far as writing and contributing and sponsoring and trying to bring forward other musicians, reviving Bach. So two very interesting people who were more than just composers, but almost promoters of music as well in their own right. So Schumann's boring? Really? Wow. Wow, that's such a statement. Schumann? You can say Schumann's a lot of things. I feel like you can say his music is too chaotic. You can say it's so chromatic, your brain explodes. But boring is an interesting word. I just don't think of his music as being boring. He's not my favorite composer. He's up there with my favorites, but he's not I would never even consider him for one of my top fives. But I would never say the word boring, I guess, with his music. That's not the word that comes to mind. So if it wasn't for Schumann's wife, We wouldn't have had Brahms as inspired as he was. So, are you saying by extension that Schumann's illness, which could have alienated him from his own wife and got himself killed at a younger age, gave us Brahms? Wow, that's a huge connection. You should be like, wow, we're thankful that Schumann struggled in life. I wanted to keep going, but I realized right through that I should probably stop talking because I didn't know what my brain was going to say. But wow, Rachmaninoff's choral works, yeah, Rachmaninoff's great. He's one of the best ever, guys. This is literally tied. Mendelssohn versus Elijah. I'm going to ban you from my chat, man. I'm going to ban you from my chat. Stop with all the Brahms hate. Brahms has a second lease on life down here when he's going to go against, oh man. Oh no, Brahms is going to go against the loser of Bach and Liszt. Brahms has the toughest draw of the entire tournament, guys. Brahms lost to Schubert, and then he beat Poulenc, obviously. Then he's going to have to play the loser of Bach versus Liszt. Oh, I should have rigged this a little more. Okay, we are stuck. We have to do a recount. Mendelssohn versus the Schumann. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. You got about 10 seconds. If Ravel doesn't lose and I'll unsubscribe. Wow, that's pretty harsh. Oh, I just realized when I shortened Mendelssohn, I just said men. Men versus Schuh. I thought the abbreviation would be cute, like Cheik and like Beeth for Beethoven. That's why I do some of these when I try to go fast, but literally just men. We have the men versus the shoes. Who will win? Looks like the men is winning right now. Menchu. That would be like when people randomly do the meme where they list a random Asian sounding name and they say, as the philosopher Menchu once said, the plow is slow, but the ground is patient. All right, Mendelssohn won. In the words of Menchu, Mendelssohn has won. Maybe people voted for him the second time around because they were like, men is subconsciously, male dominated society stuff. Who knows? All right, we have a really interesting matchup. Grieg versus Chopin. I don't think it's going to be close, but I think it's super interesting. If you were comparing only their concertos, Grieg might win. If you're only comparing, you could only consider concertos, Consider any other pieces. I don't think it's going to be close. The battle between men and shoes. It's true though. I have a battle with shoes. I hate shoes. I hate shoes. I'm barefoot as much as I can be barefoot. Yeah, I hate shoes. Men versus shoes. Shoes are terrible because the thing with shoes, they start wearing out. I've had this issue my whole life. My shoes start wearing out, and then be like, this is annoying. My feet are hurting. My shoes are so worn out. But I just bought these shoes. Then I'll think for a while, and someone will say, "You bought those 3 years ago." Like, oh, okay. I guess I bought those 3 years ago. They're my primary walking shoes. So yeah. All right. Chopin obviously beat Grieg. If you take out their concertos, every single thing Chopin did was better than every single thing that Grieg did. But Grieg is awesome. But yeah, obviously. Grieg's concerto is not overrated. It's overplayed. Right? I think there's a big difference between overrated and overplayed. Like Beethoven's Fifth Concerto is not overrated, but it probably is overprogrammed because I would love to hear more of the Seventh, more of the Eighth on recitals and not more of the Fifth. If I hear that the Seventh or Eighth is at a concert, I'd be way more excited than the Fifth. Not because the Fifth is overrated, because it's over concertized. So, all right, we have, where are we at? Mozart versus the modern Mozart. Some people call Dvorak like the second coming to Mozart because he's such a melodic driven composer, and I've heard that comparison before. Some people are like, one of my piano teachers in college, favorite composer was Mozart, and then right after that, loved Dvorak. I was like, Dvorak, Dvorak. And I'm really, because at the time it was weird to me, but she's like, I just love melodies. All right, makes sense. Love melodies, Mozart, Dvorak. So I'm guessing Mozart's going to crush him. Should I play some Mozart to encourage you guys to vote for him? Like the worst Mozart? Or I could play like his really, really, really bad like pieces he wrote when he was a kid. They're like, oh, how's that go? I'm talking about. Some little dumb minuet he wrote as a small child that everyone's like, he was 3, it's great, and it wasn't. All right, Mozart obviously won. I think that might be one of the least shocking things on here, though Dvorak was great, and as always, he's going to go down to the losers bracket, so he will have another chance. So up next here, because Scott Joplin won the rematch earlier, which I was kind of surprised by Joplin winning. I thought he would lose easy. But because he won, he now gets to go against Eric Satie because somehow Eric beats Skriabin, which is also crazy. And because he has 2 matchups, we have 2 really bad composers. And I'm just joking, right? But we have these 2 composers, and Joplin has a legit chance of getting crushed by Beethoven in the next round. So Joplin versus Satie, really, really fun music or really, really boring music? Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, I thought Benjamin, I thought you were saying my Mozart sonata I was playing. I'm like, I'm being sarcastic. This piece is terrible. What are you talking about? You were talking talking about Elijah mentioning Dvorak 7. Okay. That makes more sense. Jop sat. Sat jop. Dot jop. I know Brahms is great, but Brahms is not going to make it that long. I don't feel like Brahms is not long for this list. Satie is not boring. I have to say stuff like that though to make sure you guys are paying attention. You guys slip in little things like that. I made fun of Satie in a video. It's one of the first videos I did, I feel like, on the channel, and it's just now a running joke. I just have to go after Satie. I actually really I think he's hilarious. I have a lot of appreciation for Satie. I actually at one point planned out a video about the things I really like about Satie, but then I was like, I don't know. It might kind of mess up the running joke I have on the channel of hating Satie, so I didn't film it. I was like, I gotta kind of keep this going. So, all right, Joplin, shockingly has made it really far. Last time we did this vote, Joplin went against, if I remember right, it's like been 18 months, but I think he went against Ravel. I think he just got blown out of the water in the first round. And then Ravel lost here in the first round, and Joplin made it down too. So very interesting. All right. Up next, we've hardly talked about Beethoven. He hasn't been like in the losers bracket, and he hasn't been in any interesting matchups. He just voted once against Messiaen and crushed him. So now we have Beethoven versus Debussy. So it's kind of interesting how that can work. So Beethoven versus Debussy. I know Joplin's made it really far. I could fake some Joplin for you guys. They would be totally by sight though. That'd be, or by ear, memory, bad. I'd be much better off. Maybe I should do Beethoven in the style of Joplin. That might be a lot more interesting. I did have someone tell me the other day that part of Waldstein reminded them of Mario. So I played a little like Mario Stein, like something like, oh, hang on, let me turn my mic on. I remember exactly why I did. It was funny at the time. One of those jokes. You had to be there, but I'm going to do it anyway. One of those jokes. Oh, I'm going to get copyright striked or something because I played Mario. You know, I gotta be careful what I play here. You know, I made that joke in that video about being copyright striked for like, not strike, but you know, they take away the money you make because they're like, oh, bad person for doing that. I made that video about problems with classical music, and then a live stream, The last live stream I did, I played those like 10-second clips of people playing piano, and apparently the random clip of someone playing piano got me copyright issued. So I was like, oh my goodness. So we can't have any fun, guys. We can't make fun of pop music, because then if we make fun of pop music by playing it, someone's going to get me in trouble. So, all right, Beethoven won. Everyone except one crazy person's vote for Beethoven. Good job, guys. You guys are doing great so far. You haven't done anything terrible. So far, so good. Beethoven will go against Joplin. We only have 2 people left. And yeah, I know it kind of works, doesn't it? They thought the part sounded like Bowser. They like that sounded like a Bowser piece, which is kind of true. It could be like, you enter Bowser's castle. Then you do it underwater, and it's like, then you get the gold star, and it goes. We gotta do all the Mario tropes. So who do we have? Handel versus Bartok. Another matchup where I do not know who's going to win. Handel versus Bartok. Huh. It depends on if you want a flip phone. Where are we talking about flip phones? I'm so confused. We go back for some Beethoven and flip phones. Handel versus Bartok. I would say if you are really in the Chopin and you want to get into Beethoven, you could start from the beginning, but you could also do like backwards Beethoven listening, where you start at the end and listen to something like the E major sonata, and which is like opus 1, is it 109, guys, or 110? I always flip the last 2. I know it's not 111, but listening to something like that, listening to 101, something like really lyrical. Some people who already like Chopin kind of like sneaking into Beethoven like backwards order, because the end of Beethoven is more romantic. But yeah, you can not vote. It doesn't matter. Handel. Now, if you know the alt code for a umlaut, that would be really impressive for Handel. But Handel crushed Bartok. Poor Bartok. Handel's doing great. Handel's another one that lost really early last time around. And yeah, what's the E major sonata? Opus 110. So I got the 2 mixed up in undergrad, and I've never gotten them straight. I've literally looked at the book and seen which one is first so many times. But I think I originally learned in my head 109 was E. Then I learned I was wrong. But when you never are sure of like, wait, did I learn I was wrong because I thought this was this, or did I learn I was wrong because I thought this was this? Like when you say a word, right? Like I learned the word gesture wrong, and I still don't know what it is. To this day, I don't know if you gesture or if you gesture. If I say, hey, come here, am I gesturing? Am I gesturing? I don't know. I just know I did it wrong, and I just don't use that word. Like that is it's kind of the effect thing. We just don't use the word because you never know. So, okay, you looked it up. That's okay. I should know. I should know what it is. I should know. Opus 109. Wait. Now we have Opus E major is Opus 109. Is it? That's what I want it to be. I'm typing in random alt codes. This could be really dangerous on a live stream, Nope, that was not what I thought it was going to be. Nope. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Is it like guess? Because I feel like people say gesture. That's what I feel like, but maybe I'm wrong. But see, the thing is, I'm hopeless. I have learned how to say tens of thousands of words, but it's not learning a new word. You can teach me a new word and how to say it. The problem is when you were confused and you fixed it and you were still confused and you always doubt yourself. I feel like everyone has a few of these words, right? Like, so for example, I've always said Andre Shift. I thought his first name was French or something like Andres. And then someone told me in a video lately, it's just Andres. And I was like, is it really? So I looked it up, and his parents are Hungarian, I think is what it was. And it's just pronounced Andres, like AS is just like Andres. And I was like, Andres or Andres, either way. I was like, oh, I learned that now, and I'm fine with that now. I know it's not Andre. I always thought it was Andre Shift. Like I thought it was like an A and a silent S, but I was wrong, and it's fine. And see, now look at this. Someone says it's like jest. Someone says like guess. We'll never know. I'll always be confused. I could look up the right way right now and it would still confuse me though, because I learned it wrong. And that's what we're talking about. When you learn it wrong first, and then you thought you fixed it and you didn't, and you're just always confused. So, Bach versus Liszt. I think Liszt is about to get crushed. That's my thought. So a lot of you like Liszt. A lot of you like Liszt. That's actually a good question. What would you rather listen to, and which one do you think is greater, and which one do you think you would rather play? You know, I like it. I know it's objectively wrong, but I'm voting for Liszt, my king Liszt. That's hilarious. Um, I mean, I think it's closer than we think it is, right? That's kind of thing. If you want to vote for Liszt, you better vote though, because like it's like this is almost it. I mean, he's going to get. I mean, I guess he'll go to like the losers bracket, but he is this closer than I thought it would be. Closer than I thought it would be, actually. So it's tough. I would agree that a lot of people would rather hear Liszt at a concert than Bach, but what's a gesture? See people when you say gesture, everyone's like, no, it's definitely gesture. I think it is gesture, but I told you I was confused. Now I'll always be confused. Like, you can learn stuff. You gotta know what I'm saying. Like, I decided one time as an adult it was dumb that I didn't know where all the countries in the world were. So I tried to learn where all the countries were. And at one point I knew most of the main ones. There are some like debated ones and some islands I didn't get to. But I could like in my head, I'm not a visual person, but I could in my head kind of like connect the dots geometrically from every country in the world. And I could consistently name like 160. But I learned all that just as an adult because I wanted to learn. You can learn new things, but the key is like when you're confused. Once you're confused and then you like fix it, but you are still confused, you're just hopeless. So you can learn new things. Again, I learned all the countries, but like you think it's giraffe, gesture like giraffe. Never know. I hope it is. I hope it is, but I'm hopeless, guys. You all need to do your own research and make a decision for yourself. Whatever your truth is, I'm hopeless. I'm not coming back for him. Bach is old. Yeah, don't underestimate. Yeah, the islands are tough. Yeah, don't underestimate how emotional Bach is. But sometimes Bach going to a concert, Bach is pretty inconsistent. But also Liszt can be really inconsistent at a concert. I went to an all Liszt concert one time, and it was pretty rough. So that's true. We need Liszt to lose. So Rachmaninoff has some semblance of chance. Or not Rachmaninoff, Brahms has a chance. Because Brahms would definitely lose versus Bach. So, all right, that is our next chance. So, yes, Colin, yeah, the islands are tough. Like, I know it's always like, I still to this day one time read a story and I'm like, where's that? I know all the countries. Where's that? And I'm like, oh, just another island you missed. Okay. Okay, just another island that apparently broke off and it's its own country now. So islands are tricky. Islands are very, very tricky. Okay. That is our second round. So you might think, hey, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people left. But it's not true. We have our losers bracket. So all the losers from what we just now did, Schubert, Schumann, Grieg, Dvorak, Satie somehow made it to this round, Debussy and Bartok and Liszt are going to go up against the winners of the first loser bracket. So everyone who's in this round has already lost once. So just how this works is if you lose this round, you're done for good. You can only lose twice. So this would be everyone's second loss. So you ready? We're going to do the losers first and then backtrack up here to the top. So take a second, take a pause here, heart or smile or something, interact with the video in some lovely way so everyone starts joining. And we are going to go on to our losers. This is a really, 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 really tough losers bracket. We have Liszt versus Brahms, and the loser, I mean, I guess the losers bracket will improve as time goes along too, but this is crazy. Liszt versus Brahms is such a powerful losers bracket. So I would try to skew it. I like both these composers, but Bach is hard compared to Liszt. Yeah. Yeah. I would say Bach is hard compared to Liszt. For sure. Liszt is easy. Bach pieces are fun to play. I enjoy playing Bach as much or more than listening to Bach. You know what I mean? I love playing. Okay, Elijah, you are banned from voting on this next one here, and let's go. Liszt versus Brahms. Now, which one of these is more difficult to play? Liszt versus Brahms. Come on, guys. Why do you have to kill Brahms like that? I mean, Brahms should win. I understand it being close, but... What? I'm going to do the thing where I just play Brahms. I'm going to start the first handle variation. I'm not going to stop playing until he has more votes than Liszt. Wait, I have to turn my piano mic on. Also, depending on how much I have it memorized still, should not make it that loud. All right. Switch your votes now, or that's all we're going to do the rest of the live stream. I obviously forgot it. Well, this is technically handled, so it doesn't even really count as Brahms, I guess. Something. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Not prepared to play Brahms tonight. I didn't think Brahms would have to be convinced to win a few rounds, so... Well, it's hopeless. Hopeless. I mean, I like Liszt, so I'm not sad about Liszt being given a second chance, but I just wish the order would have been a little different, you know? Like, I'm just regretting, like, I didn't anticipate that Brahms and Rachmaninoff and Schubert and Liszt were all going to knock each other out so early. So I wish all of them would done better. So Brahms is kind of blocky. What does that even mean? Brahms is blocky. Brahms is sad right now. Brahms is crying because you called him blocky. You mean like rhythmically, like blocky, like not free enough? Yeah, well, I'll stop trying to convince you guys. It's over. What's done? Done is done. From now on, I'm only making Brahms videos on the channel starting tomorrow. I'm deleting my Mendelssohn video that's scheduled to come out tomorrow. I'm going to delete all the hours and hours and hours of work I put into it. Just do Brahms. I'm going to start with Brahms Opus 10 and cover the 4 ballades, and then we're just going to go right on. Well, I can go back to number 1 and cover a sonata. We'll do every movement at Stone Video. Then we'll get to the late pieces. We'll cover every single late piece individually. And then sometime next year, we'll get back to Beethoven. Okay? Okay. Bartók versus Prokofiev. Which one of these guys are going home for good? No, I won't really do that because I also want to have views on my channel to make money and be able to make this a full-time job. I mean, if there was no motivation of making people actually want to watch the videos, then I could troll everyone like that. But don't delete men. No, don't delete men. We need men. Who's going to fight the wars and get killed? Don't delete the men. If you're just now joining, you have no clue what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Did you play like the did you play Elijah? Did you play the Hungarian dances for the piano? Curious, because I think that one does feel that way. Can't think of the melody right now, but I remember playing it and thinking, like, I played the 4-hand version of it. I remember thinking it was like a little more station by station, but yeah, Prokofiev is crushing Bartók, so we can go ahead and call that one. We have, man, Ravel has an interesting path here. So Ravel lost in the first round versus Grieg. Then he had to go down here and go up against a French composer. And now we have Ravel versus Debussy. So Ravel so far has been the French killer. Like, like knocking out your own, like when your favorite team's playing the playoffs of a sport and you're like, one of them has to go home, So Debussy versus Ravel, one of them. I know this happened in the last video too. They went up against each other, and I won't remind you guys who won. But man, Ravel is going up against all the French people. It would be crazy if somehow Satie beat Tchaikovsky. Then Ravel could go up against another French person, which would be crazy. That'll be my next live stream. But the problem is, if I want to convince you to like Brahms, flowy, smooth Brahms, I might need to learn a new Brahms piece. What about let me turn my mic on. I'm really smart and I mute my piano mic so it doesn't pick up noise in the background the whole video. I remember to unmute it, and I don't remember to unmute it. And then it gets obviously prettier later, but I don't have music in front of me. But you know what? Maybe that's what we do at the end of this live stream. I just go play some Brahms for you for a while. So who's winning? Debussy's winning. Huh. See, I thought we had a weird crowd because last time we did this live stream, I think Ravel beat Handel, then he beat Brahms, and then he crushed Debussy. And everyone was like, yeah, everyone knows that Ravel's better than Debussy, Ryan. Like I was some freak for saying that. I thought Debussy was going to win. People acted like I was just crazy for saying that. And yeah, I mean, Ravel's great. I think it's very close. But I just remember the last time people made me feel like a complete idiot for thinking everyone's like, yeah, everyone knows that everyone likes Ravel more than Debussy. And this is very close. So, yeah. So if that doesn't convince you, I don't know what to do for you. That's I don't even know. Brahms, E flat major, lullaby, intermezzo. That's what I call it. Opus 1, 18. I don't think it's number 1. You can find it. There you go. You do like that piece. I convinced you. All right, guys. I'll give you about. Oh, is it within one vote? Yes, I think so. Name a good Debussy piece besides Clair de Lune. Garden in the Rain. Garden in the Rain is a great Debussy piece. All the Estamps are good. Pagodes is good. Evening in Granada. I don't know the English, but it's Evening. Those are all good. Island of Joy, Le Joyeux, whatever that is. I don't speak French. Is also good. But yeah. I agree. They're really close. All I'm saying is last time, not you guys. I could say you guys, but it was just the chat. Made me feel so stupid because I said, oh, I thought Debussy would win. Everyone's like, oh, come on. And Debussy lost like 80-20 or 70-30. So, all right, guys, I don't call it within one vote. Someone else has to vote. Someone else has to vote for Debussy. If you're listening to this and you haven't voted yet, vote for Debussy, then we can call it. If no one votes like in 10 seconds, then we're going to have to do a recount. Debussy's music sounds like trailer music. Tagato, you're just out here making enemies today. You're hilarious. He's been on the channel a lot before, but you're just out here like, I want to make everyone hate me. You're coming after everyone's favorite composers. Yeah, and I have no clue how to say joyeuse in French, but yeah, I remember when I first heard the piece, I was like, wow, this is so fun. All right, guys. All right. I have to do a recount. That's my rule. We got to have the vote not be decided by one. I don't believe in that. I feel like it's too close. The state of Florida doesn't call if it's within a vote or something like that or a percent. So we have to do a recount. Debussy versus Ravel. You got about 10 seconds. Go. 10 seconds. And again, don't wait for the last second because delay, blah, 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 blah. I want to have a drink of my coffee. Only a little left, which is really sad. But Have a drink of it. Wow, this is swinging so much. I have the live stream pulled up on my phone so I can like, make sure it doesn't crash or something and doesn't like nothing crazy happens. I don't have my computer over there, but I have my phone today. And it shows like related ads on the bottom over the chat. And it's like, are you single? Like weird ads. I'm like, how is that related to greatest composer ever? Are you single? Like, what are we doing here, man? All right, guys, why is the vote tied again? Why is the vote tied? We will call it, even if it's within one this time. So I'm gonna count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. WC by a vote. WC by a vote. Yeah, that's like really random YouTube ads, especially because like I'm the one on my own live stream. Like, what I just say to WC win? I clicked off the screen. WC won. WC, boom. Hey, WC Ravel, are you single? WC wasn't single very often. I actually don't know about Ravel. I know WC was rarely truly single. But I actually don't know about Ravel's personal life in that way at all. Okay, we have a fascinating matchup with Tchaikovsky, who, if we were not a bunch of piano players, I know some of you aren't piano players, but we are a majority piano players, so we don't vote Tchaikovsky that high because outside of his piano concertos, he didn't do a lot for us. But somehow Eric Satie has had a miracle here, where Satie is to this point. Where Satie, let's see, how did his story go? Satie lost, right? Where am I at? I totally lost my place. How did Satie get here? He was. Who did he beat? He beat Scriabin. He barely lost to Joplin. And so now he's going against Tchaikovsky. So this could be the end of Satie. Let's find out. I mean, I think if we were like not piano players, if we were orchestra members, this would be like the fastest Tchaikovsky crushing ever. But since we are piano players, maybe it'll be interesting. Yeah. WC just won by 1 vote, not 1%, but 1 vote. But when I do a recount, I have to call it even if it's 1. So that unraveled quickly for Maurice. I like it. I very, very like it. So, okay, we can call this one now. Tchaikovsky obviously won. Thank you. Eric Satie is now gone. My oldest foe and enemy on the channel has now been defeated. He lived a little longer than I would like him to live, but he made it out. So we have almost done with the, oh my goodness, almost done with the loser bracket. We have Dvorak versus Haydn. No, I'm not voting for Satie here. Yeah, why would anyone vote for Satie? And who's the best chat? Yeah. Okay, so we have Dvorak versus Haydn. Very interesting since Dvorak lost so badly earlier. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm going to click go and see what happens with it. I just don't know what to expect because I thought he would do better, but he got crushed. So now I just don't know what to expect. I'm all out of coffee. Got to move on the water. How did Haydn get to the losers bracket? Because losers didn't vote for him. I'm trying to remember. What's your story, Haydn? Yeah, Haydn lost to Joplin. that was a low moment, let's just say. That was a low moment for the group. That Haydn lost to Joplin. That was kind of shocking. Yeah, Haydn lost to Joplin. Got kicked down here to the losers bracket and beat Scriabin. And now it's going against Dvorak. And it looks like it's tied right now. We got Haydn and Dvorak going against each other. I would vote for Haydn. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I think Haydn has a lot of haters. I don't know why people hate Haydn. Haydn's just pure happiness and joy. So yeah, maybe the biggest win Joplin ever had. Hey, you know what? Joplin to this day has a Joplin festival in his honor. I've never been to a Haydn festival. Maybe because I don't live in Germany. That could be, or Austria. That could be a big part of it. I'm just saying, I've never seen a Haydn festival that's widely attended by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. So, but there is a Joplin festival that is greatly attended and people adore and love and play his music. And yeah, so I don't know. All right, is this 2 votes? I think it's 2 votes. Call it for Joseph. Joseph is having a comeback story. Our losers bracket honestly looks pretty good. Liszt, Prokofiev, Debussy, Tchaikovsky, Haydn. I mean, like, we're definitely thinning out these losers pretty big. Yeah, there's a huge Joplin festival in Joplin, Missouri. I don't know if Joplin lived in Joplin, Missouri, or if he lived near Joplin, Missouri, but because the name was Joplin, they did it there. I'm actually not sure. If someone knows like the Joplin history, I know he moved around a little, but I feel like for a time he was in like Western Missouri. Is that where Joplin is? If you're not American, actually, if you're not Midwestern American, you're like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Like, where's Missouri? But I think he lived over there, and I think there's a Joplin festival. I've only heard about though. I've never actually been, but people say it's like a wild event. People will like come out, bros. So, all right, Grieg versus Field, the matchup of two people who have IE in their name, said E Field and Grieg, but two people you might not know that well. I feel like are a little less known, but Grieg will probably win by the strength of his concerto. Chopin? Yeah. So Chopin hasn't lost yet. Chopin beat Grieg actually. So what we have here is a double elimination bracket. Every single person is present in these 32 right here. The losers, when you lose, you drop down to the losers bracket. So we do the winners, we do the losers. Go for the next round of the winners, next round of the losers. So yeah, Grieg is going to take this one because of the concerto, which is totally legit. His concerto is greater than anything. So, okay, you played at the Joplin Festival. Nice. So it's in Joplin, Missouri, but the Joplin live. Am I right saying Joplin did not live in Joplin, Missouri, but Joplin lived close to Joplin, Missouri? Am I right about that, or did he actually live in Joplin, Missouri? Or just like ironic names. So, all right, Grieg definitely won this matchup. We are down to Robert, whose music is apparently boring, by the way. Robert Schumann, the Shoe versus the Stravinsky. Schumann versus Stravinsky, a matchup of two S's. Come on, guys. This one's got to be Schumann, right? We are pianists here. Sedalia, Missouri. Okay. Grieg's mustache is too powerful. That's true. I'm glad Grieg's not gone for good. Field is fine. Field made it to the second round of the losers bracket, so it's totally fine. He did well. Field did well for considering what he did. He was more famous in this bracket than he ever was in real life. So, Schumann versus Stravinsky. That's true. You know what? I wasn't even thinking about the Schumann concerto. Schumann concerto is great. I mean, it's up there. I would say right behind Brahms concertos, in my humble opinion. Actually, that might be. I think I did make a video where I tried to like rank my top 10 concertos, which was super difficult to do. But if I, off the top of my head, try to name my favorite concerti, we're talking Beethoven 3 and 5, Brahms, both of them. Yeah, Schumann probably going to be in that like 5, 6, 7 range, maybe 8, somewhere in there. So Schumann's concerto is one of the best. I think Schumann's concerto is slightly more difficult to get into than Greeks. It's a little more dense and complicated, but I'd say it's a little better too. In the long run, I think it's more rewarding, in my opinion. Yeah, oh yeah, Rock. Rock 2 is definitely in my top 10 video I did. I think I said Rock 2, Brahms B flat, and Beethoven Emperor were my top 3 in any order. I'm pretty sure that's how I decided to do that because I couldn't decide. I think I just said the top 3 are like a group that has Rock 2, Beethoven 5, and Brahms B flat. So I think I did. So, all right, Schumann 1, which is good because Schumann shouldn't be in the loser's bracket yet anyway. I feel like Schumann got kicked down here a little undeservedly, right? I mean, he lost to Mendelssohn, which is a good matchup, but I'm glad he won. I'm glad we kind of bringing him back. So, up next, we have Schubert, who is so many people's favorite composer, but Schubert had the unfortunate path of having to play Brahms, beating Brahms easily, but then going right on to Rachmaninoff. And so I told you guys when Schubert lost, though, you Schubert lovers, do not fret, do not despair. Don't let it ruin your night because he gets to go against Scarlatti. Ooh, he gets to go against Scarlatti. That was awesome. Scarlatti. And probably completely crush him. So Gymnopathy is not better than Trommerai. Trommerai is a million times better, in my opinion. Trommerai is awesome. Awesome. The shoe versus the scar. Oh, missed out. Hang on. We got to redo the poll, guys. Redo the poll. This is the only chance I had to make this joke. So, yes, we got to redo the poll. We got to have the shoe versus the scar. Yeah. Schubert versus Scar. Do-over. No, I wouldn't have Schubert over Rachmaninoff either. That's why I said it was a tough matchup for the guy. I mean, Schubert is one of the greatest ever. If Schubert lived as long as Rachmaninoff, I would say the matchup would be extremely close. That's my bold statement for the day. Schubert didn't even finish his symphonies. He wasn't even trying, man. Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. No, your vote's still good. You can vote again. I canceled it early because I wanted to make my joke. My joke. We got the shoe is crushing the scar. Though Scar is definitely a better villain name than Shoe. Could you imagine watching Lion King and Mufasa being like, "Stop, Shoe. That is my son." I can't really do a Mufasa voice. I don't think I can talk that low. How does Mufasa talk? Can't even like I don't think I have that range in my voice. Like, not that I can't talk that low. I don't have that resonance in that range. Like, Simba, come here, Simba. All right. Shoe is obviously crushing Scar. Yeah, it's true. Next round, we're going to have a shoe versus a shoe. Got the two shoes. Hopefully the shoe fits. All right, guys. This is going well. We are actually, as I always tell you, actually there's a spoiler on the side here. You guys can't see it, but I can see it. It says we're almost 2/3 of the way done. Because how these matchups work is we always, every time you do one, you always cut out half of the people. So like you do the first round, once you get through all the winners and the losers bracket, you're halfway done. So the second round, when you're done, you're halfway done, kind of with a halfway or a third of the way done. So we are about 2/3 of the way done already, which is always crazy. So take a second. I'm going full screen just to say, well, first of all, to say my hair is all crazy, but I've been on small video and haven't seen myself for a while. But I guess I'm also going to say, hit heart, hit like, you think of it, tell all your friends the coolest live stream ever is on right now, ever. And let's get on with this next round. So only a few rounds left. We have back at the top here. I'm going to move this over, confirm everyone can see that pretty well. Yeah, that looks like it's all fitting. So we have the great and mighty Rock versus Men. Earlier, men were strong and men beat Shu. Men have fight with Shu, but now men must fight Rock. And Rock is stronger than Shu. I'm going to get crushed by Rock. Rock will crush men. That could be like a proverb. Men wear shoe, but rock crush men. Sagato, I think you need my job. Because one thing I don't do well enough is I don't just say crazy things like Rachmaninoff sucks. And if I said more of that stuff, I feel like I would get more more comments and more like engagement, right? A lot of people get famous on YouTube for just saying like crazy stuff like Mozart, I composed. If I made a video title and I was like, I wrote a piece better than anything Mozart wrote, that would be a really catchy title, right? And I feel like it would like really do my channel well because everyone would be like, oh my goodness, who is this pretentious, horrible jerk? And they like comment and everything, and the video would blow up. I need to have a little bit of that in me. So, okay, rock, crush men, Pendleton playing like scissors. I like it. I like it. That really caught me off guard. I sometimes anticipate the jokes before you guys type them, but I did not see that one coming at all. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Middleton out here playing like scissors. All right, guys, this is probably the meanest matchup yet. I know who's going to win, but we have Chopin versus Mozart. And there is truly, by the way, Rachmaninoff won, obviously. There's truly no winning with this matchup. Chopin versus Mozart. You cannot win because if you don't vote for Mozart, we will get comments of pretentious people saying clearly no one watching this live stream knew anything about music because Mozart's the best, because they've always been taught that Mozart is the best and there's no argument. So yeah, but there's no real winning. So all right, take it away. Mozart versus show. The show versus the mo. Moats versus the shoats. Should stop rhyming till I accidentally say a bad word or something. Don't think I've ever said a bad word on the channel. But sometimes in real life I'm like doing a rhyming game and you accidentally say something bad, so I should be careful. So Chopin is my favorite, but Mozart's better. That's actually not a bad assessment, to be honest with you. So, like, to be honest with you, like, it's hard to pick against Mozart, especially considering like the era and what he did in his era. But what do I listen to more? If you were just that thing I told you earlier, ask myself, what do I go out of my way to seek out more often? And it's Chopin. So, yeah, now. All right. So the show has beat the Mo. However, I remind you guys for the 70,000th time, even though Mozart lost, he will go down to the losers bracket and crush someone a little bit down there probably. So Chopin has beat Mozart. Be prepared. In a few minutes here, we're going to get Rachmaninoff versus Chopin. So stay tuned. But up next, Scott Joplin has had a miracle run. He's been the Cinderella of the voting so far. He has, by the way, if you don't know bracket terminology, Cinderella is an underdog that goes way further than you ever expected. But what typically happens in like the NCAA tournament is eventually the Cinderella has to go up against the number one seed and gets pulverized. So Joplin had his fun beating Haydn. He beats Satie, a pretty easy, soft second round matchup, I would say. But now Scott has to go against Ludwig. Gonna be rough. I'm ready for you three Joplin fans to go crazy here, but let's see what happens. Let's make Joplin win the whole thing. I think some of you are trying. More of you are voting for Joplin than I promise most of you guys would ever vote for him if it wasn't for just trying to make me mad. But no, he's not going to stand a chance. Joplin propaganda. I like how we are getting prepped on people loving Rachmaninoff. Like the Rachmaninoff people are like, you're like already focused on next election. People are here like focused on Joplin versus Beethoven, and you're like, no, we got to start rigging the next election, Rachmaninoff versus Chopin. So, okay, I feel bad. Joplin's had his fun, but remember, this is actually his first loss. And good job, guys, voting. A lot more of you guys voted for that one than have voted. But obviously, Beethoven won. Joplin got some spite votes because some people like to troll me, but that's completely okay. It's what we're all here for. We can have fun. If Beethoven would have lost, it might not have been okay, but I will let it fly. So wait, what did someone say earlier? 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. Hey, 1, 3, 2. I remembered. Handel. We're going with his original German spelling right now. Though, wait, what was the original? Handel. Yeah. Though this was what it was in Germany. He moved to Italy and he took off the dots. Then he moved to England, and at one point he started signing his music with an E. He started saying Handel, like H-E-N. So we got like all the different spellings of Handel to sound more like whatever country he was living in at the time. But I'm pretty sure it started with the 2 dots, but not exclusively. Sometimes I think his family did write names without the dots. So they were sort of like, it's kind of like my last name is stupid, A-B-S-H-I-E-R. I've seen people write A-B-S-H-I-R-E so many times. I'm like, it's an acceptable spelling of my last name. If you want to spell my last name A-B-S-H-I-R-E, I don't care. If you want to spell A-B-S-H-I-E-R, I don't care. I just accepted that I'm an Apshire sometimes. So Handel versus Bach. Let's see what happens. I think we all know what's going to happen. Handel's great, but unfortunately he had to go against someone who did literally the same things he did, but much better. I shouldn't say literally. Bach doesn't have quite the vocal music output. Handel's obviously a huge plus there. Guys, we're voting on Bach versus Handel. Handel with the dots. We will have our time for Rock versus Chopin. Okay, right now we got to focus on Bach, crushing Handel. I have noticed a lot of people have never really listened to Messiah, and I will say this because Handel's about to get crushed here. Messiah is really good, especially if you listen to like a large chunk of it at once. It is really good. So just so you know. But you know what? I shouldn't talk about yet because in my mind he's getting eliminated, but I guess he's only going to the losers bracket. So we are on to the losers now. There'll be 4 losers matchups, and we are getting pretty low on composers here. So on to the losers bracket. Liszt has a second lease on life. Liszt lease on life. That's hard to say. Liszt versus Proch. Shouldn't be close. I mean, Prokofiev is great and everything, but I'm guessing you guys are going to really go for Liszt here. I think Liszt has had a pretty legit history too, right? I mean, he beat Scarlatti. He lost to Bach. I mean, he lost to what some people consider the greatest composer of all time, and then he beat Brahms. So Liszt has had a pretty hard path to get to where he has. He's come a long way. Uncle Rock wants you. That like the poster we need to change it out for. Uncle Rock wants you in the U.S. Army. Okay, well, I'm guessing. Why is Rock weird? Why do people keep saying Rock is weird? Are you saying Rachmaninoff is a weird person? Because maybe he was, I don't know. Or are you saying Rachmaninoff is like a weird, like his music is weird? Okay, Liszt obviously beat Prokofiev, unsurprisingly. Sorry, Prokofiev. Next, we have a very close matchup. No YouTube, I don't want to do a members only live stream. We have Debussy versus Tchaikovsky. I think I know who you guys will vote for. Once again, people will watch this on review later on and say, I can tell you're a bunch of piano players because Tchaikovsky should have won the whole thing. But, you know, hey, maybe Tchaikovsky will win this matchup. What? Tchaikovsky's doing well. What is this? I'm shocked. Rock had a weird hand size. Disturbing. Wow, I feel like everyone stopped voting for this. Do people just not care? They're just like, whatever. We got to get to Rachmaninoff versus Chopin. Nothing else matters. Yeah, sorry, Vienna. I had to get rid of Prokofiev. Yeah, wow. Guys, you are very exquisite music consumers. You have chosen Tchaikovsky over Debussy. I don't disagree. I mean, I wouldn't myself. I don't disagree with saying he's a greater composer. So I'm a little surprised. So, all right, this is interesting. We have Haydn versus Grieg. I actually list both these composers as composers I have a higher opinion of than average people. Like, I'm well aware that Grieg would not be on the average person's top 10 list. He's right about my 10th favorite composer, probably. And Haydn's probably around my 5. And once again, I think if you average out everyone, I know, Vienna, right? Are we not piano players? How did Tchaikovsky win? The one piano concerto is pretty cool, though. I tried to play it one time on stream, and I've never touched it in my life. And everyone was like, "You're playing in the wrong key," and I'm like, "I have relative pitch. I don't know. All right, Haydn versus Grieg. Once again, I'm really happy with either one here. I have Haydn personally rated slightly higher, but I would love to see Grieg go far too. So you can't make me mad, guys. You can't make me mad. Yeah, Grieg has some great stuff. You know, I would say I'm doing a video tomorrow or the next day on the Mendelssohn Songs Without Words, but I would say the lyric pieces by Grieg, better is a tough word, but there are some really cool ones in there. I like Grieg's sounds so much. I would say with the lyric pieces by Grieg, you have to cut out a few of the repeats because some of them get really long, and he'll write the exact same thing 3 or 4 times. But they're they're great pieces. So, and the violin sonatas. Oh, the one violin sonata. Is it C minor, but the middle movement's in E major? That one, is it I can't remember. Is the first movement in C minor, or is the first movement just in E or E minor? Am I just trying to be way too creative? Okay, whatever. Haydn versus Grieg. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's actually getting really warm in this room, so I'm just gonna take my jacket off. Show off my muscles that I don't have. See who wins. Haydn versus Grieg. Grieg is actually winning. Wow. I don't know how much you count novelty, if I'm being totally honest. And also, both these composers are pretty novel, right? Haydn is really pushing us forward into the classical era. People listen to Haydn, but just ignore him. Poor guy. Always getting ignored. Well, guess. Play Rock 2 second movement. We're not doing Rachmaninoff. I had to play Grieg because we're on Grieg. What key? What's the first note of the melody in Rock 2? Is it F? What key is that in? What's the first note? I can think of the pattern. I can think of the pattern up here, and the melody enters on. That's the first note. Is it E flat? What's the key? What key is it in? What key is it? I don't even know. Grieg 1. Grieg B Haydn. Again, you guys can't make me mad in this because I like both these composers. All right. The matchup we've all been waiting for. Shu versus Shu. We have the R Shu. We do it this way, or should I be more detailed? Someone gonna get confused, you know. And the F Shu. Everyone know what I'm talking about. We have Robert Schumann versus Schubert. That clear? It starts on C minor. The middle movement of Rock 2 starts on C minor? Like the melody? Dun, dun. Oh, I wanted to start on F so bad. Is it really? I don't know if we have a lot of rock fans in the chat, to be honest with you. I think Vienna and Elijah love Rachmaninoff, and they're just very vocal about it. That's what I think. The Battle of the Shoes. Wow, F shoe is killing our shoe. Our shoe's getting crushed. Come on, our shoe. Come back, our shoe. I'm shocked F shoe is crushing that our shoe so much. I thought Rashu would do better than Fishu. We always say his name that way for the rest of time. Fishu. Fishu. I'm looking it up, guys. Since none of you guys are helping, I can't be required to know the melodies of every single movement of every piece on the spot like this. I need people to sorry, I did not mean to do that. That's the first chord of the piece. Thank you. Ooh, that's a lot of sharps. That's a lot of sharps. Okay, no one cares what the trumpets are doing. What the piano's doing. Is it E major? Interesting. No. I'm looking at like a super small orchestral reduction on my phone. It's probably not the way you're I have it sitting on my shelf over there. You know. Image of I don't know everything. I'm sorry. I haven't quite arrived at knowing everything quite yet. Like the middle movement of Rachmaninoff 2, for example, that's something I don't know. Most everything else I got at this point, but there are a couple things. I would say listen to Troy Murai. Listen to his concerto, like we said earlier. Listen to like the Into the Woods stuff. Fun. He has fun stuff. His songs, the stuff for kids are great. I think they're all great, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Franz won though. So Franz Schubert obviously was the greater shoe. The shoe fits, and it's going to be that Schubert, not the other shoe. But it makes me kind of sad. So, all right, moving on. Robert Schumann has now lost his second round. Robert Schumann is done for. That shoe will never be worn again. But we are on now to our round of 4 people have not lost. We can finally do Rachmaninoff versus Chopin, so we all can shut up a little bit. We got Rachmaninoff versus Chopin. We have Beethoven versus Bach. Not really surprising on that front, I don't think. And then down here, we're going to have the losers, people who've lost once. Mozart versus Liszt. Mendelssohn versus Tchaik. Handel versus Grieg. And Joplin. Somehow Joplin's still kicking, guys. I don't know how. But Joplin versus Schubert, so... All right, the matchup we have been waiting for a very, very long time. Am I supposed to do 49 next? What do you mean? 49? Oh, is that the... Interesting. I thought I read online that you should typically do... I thought I read online... Oh, you know what? This bracket has been doing what I read online you should do if you look at the numbers. But then at the end of the losers bracket, it's been going winners, losers, winners, losers, winners, losers. But in this moment, it switches it to losers, winners. Okay, I've never done one of these of this size before. I will stick with what the bracket says. I'm sorry, guys. I have to wait 4 more matchups for Chopin versus Rachmaninoff. I feel like it might matter. I could see it kind of playing down to a situation where you need to know something. So I don't know, though. I've never done something of this size before. Double elimination, obviously. So hold your horses. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. Mozart versus Liszt. Guys, I know you all love Liszt too much, but vote for Mozart. Vote for Mozart. Mozart for president. Mozart for president, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it got all confusing, but man, yeah, I probably should have just done Chopin versus Rachmaninoff so we could stop talking about it in the comment section. But yeah, Mozart versus Liszt. Hey, Mozart's winning. I said vote for Mozart, but I thought you guys would vote for Liszt. So you guys have some class. You guys have some class about you. You know what? Mozart wins. That means Liszt is gone for good. But before we say goodbye to Liszt, we have a bonus poll, okay? We have a bonus poll we're going to throw out here. All right, guys? Our bonus poll is B minor sonata by Liszt. Good, bad. Is the B minor sonata by Liszt good or bad? Since we don't get to talk about Liszt anymore now because he's gone for good. Is a B minor sonata good or bad? Be honest. All right, 100% of people say good. Oh, okay, now it's dropping down a little bit. Okay. You guys like the B minor sonata? Okay, just had to ask. Okay, we're down to Mendelssohn versus Tchaikovsky. It's a men versus the chai tea. Do men like chai tea? We're about to find out. Men versus, we can't have Mendelssohn lose because that's been like half of our jokes, guys. Mendelssohn versus chai or chike. I often put chike in there, but you know, I thought it'd be kind of funny for chai. Men versus chai. You guys have chai tea? I feel like everyone just says chai tea. Chai tea is great. Fine. Not even close. It is not even close. Chai is crushing the men. You know what? Men had a good run. Men had a good run tonight. They asserted their dominance early. The men asserted their dominance by beating Pro. They beat the shoe, but then a rock fell on the men, and now the men. Didn't the men win another round too? Let's see, where are the men at? No, the men dropped down here, and now the men are about to lose. After the rock crushed them, now they're about to suffer the wrath of the chai tea. Well, looks like Mendelssohn is out. No more men. That's okay. I'm not too personally attached. I just have a video coming out about him tomorrow where I spent my whole week working on really hard for you guys to show you how great Mendelssohn is. But that's fine. Just kick him out early. It would have made a much better video if I could have been like, yesterday, Mendelssohn was the greatest composer ever. Now we're going to talk about him. Now I'll be like, yeah, Mendelssohn lost to a rock. The chai tea. Not near as exciting, guy. Oh well, there's my video title. Now my video title is going to be No One Likes Men. What are you talking about? This is the piano channel. No one likes men. Handel versus Grieg. I told you in the last matchup, Grieg versus Haydn, I didn't really care because I thought they were both great and both of them I like more than the average person. This is interesting too. You know what I'm going to spell Handel's name the other way. Spelled with an E. Handel. When Handel moved to England, he started to spell his name sometimes Handel with an E, which is hilarious because I imagine a British person saying Handel, instead of like Handel. Yeah, you gotta vote for Handel. The downfall of men. Yeah, we were strong for a little bit. Handel. No, if you look at like his actual, like the way he signed his pieces that were published throughout his life, there was an A with the dots, but much less known is there's also the E, and he changed his spelling later on in life to spelling his name with an E, Handel, which makes some degree of sense, I think, because if he was German and his name was A with the dots over it, he wasn't Handel. But if he really did have the dots, it's more like Handel, like a brighter Handel. So I imagine when he moved to England, maybe people started calling him Handel because they're like, Brits going Handel. And so he's probably like, no, it's not Handel. So you put the E in there, you say Handel. Is closer to the German A with the umlauts than A is in English. If he moved to America, we'd call him Handel, like we still do to this day. Handel. Then he'd be like, what letter I put in there to make you guys say my name right? So, well, Handel right now is losing to Greg. Greg is crushing Handel. I know, we're doing it soon. Someone pointed out that they were in the wrong order, so you have to wait 2 more matchups. You need to go to bed again? Oh no, we're going to have the same drama. You have to beg your parents to stay up for 5 more minutes. You have, oh my goodness, that sounds terrible. Wait, who just won that matchup? I already forgot. Greek won that matchup. Well, how long is your phone going to be off at 12 o'clock? That sounds terrible. Joplin versus Schubert. Are you saying like for 2 seconds? Or are you saying like, for 2 hours? The Jop versus the Shoe. Will Jope win or Shoe win? This is Robert Shoe, by the way. Not Robert. This is Schubert. I got my shoes mixed up. I got my shoes on the wrong feet. This is Schubert. Schubert beat Schumann. It started out as a joke, but then I actually confused myself for real. I really did think Schumann was going up against Joplin in my head. So the Jops versus Franz. Yeah, imagine if Jop is slop. Man, Zagato, you're making no friends tonight. Who do you like, Zagato? Who do you want to win this thing? Are they all out already? You have less than 10 more minutes. Don't worry. We will definitely hit that within 10 minutes because this is a crushing. So definitely Franz Schubert is going to win it. It didn't click. Franz Schubert win. Okay. We are down to our last few matchups. So back up to the top. Now is the moment we've all been waiting for. Rock versus Chopin. You guys like it? Okay, we'll change it. Rock versus Chopin. This is the one I've been literally talking about for like half an hour. I don't know who you guys are going to vote for. I know maybe who you should vote for. I don't know who's going to win this. This is going to be the closest. So if you want your opinion to matter, I suggest you vote. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You Rachmaninoff fans who've been hyping them. You've been hyping Rachmaninoff for like half an hour and he's getting crushed. No. Vienna, you stayed up late just for this. You probably got special permission to stay up late. You did get to see his glory days. I guess there's a chance at Rachmaninoff. He's going to drop down to the losers bracket and get to crush someone, like Mozart or Grieg or something. So, wow. Whoa, Vienna. Calm down. Chopin doesn't suck. Chopin doesn't suck. Guys. This is the silent, what's it called? The silent majority. Is that what it's called? Where like if you looked at the chat, you would think that Rachmaninoff was going to win like 95% to 5. But then everyone who's not talking is like, Chopin, make my vote count. But wow, that's crazy. I feel like maybe what happened was all the Chopin lovers were like, we got to be on for this vote because we got to make sure he wins. I'm surprised. I honestly would have a hard time picking between these two. However, I would pick Chopin as well. It wouldn't be like a obvious, like if Chopin versus Satie, that's like 100% to 0 in my mind. Chopin and Rachmaninoff are obviously a lot closer. But I would in the end have to go with Chopin as well, just because how much I played, how much I've listened to. I'm definitely more of a Chopin person, but I don't hate the Rachmaninoff love. Rachmaninoff is awesome. Rachmaninoff's awesome. And don't forget, he's not out. You are just now joining. I say for the 1,000th time, we are doing double elimination. So Rachmaninoff will drop down here to the losers bracket, and he is set to play the winner of Grieg versus Schubert. But we have to see he will go up against Chopin in the final round of the winners bracket. Remember, they're going to have to beat the losers as well. But I have a hilarious story for you guys. We have Bach versus Beethoven, two of the greatest composers ever. While you are voting for that, I have a great story. The first time I was introduced to the idea of double elimination, I was at youth group at my church and we were playing volleyball. So we split up. It was like a huge event and there was like 8 teams or 16 teams of volleyball players. And we were playing volleyball. It's one of these events where you just play for hours and hours. It may have been 8 teams, but it was hours of playing volleyball. and it was a double elimination. And my team won every single game we played. We crushed everyone. We got to the final matchup and we lost. We were all really sad because we lost, because it was one of these things in youth group where you kind of pick your teams. We happened to all be really tall, even though we didn't know how to play volleyball. We were just, if you're in a group of like a few hundred people and knows how to play volleyball, but you're tall and you can jump, you have a huge advantage, right? So we won and we were all really sad. We lost the final matchup and we were like all dejected. So the other team, who just happened to beat us, won the losers bracket and beat us. They won the whole thing. And then like 5 minutes later, someone was like, wait a second, it's double elimination. That was our first loss. We get a rematch. And the guy who did the tournament was like, oh, I guess you guys are right. So we got to play again. And we beat them because they were all out of sorts. They had to play again. I don't think we really won anything. It was like one of these, you win a pat on the back. But I say that to say the same thing will happen here, just so you're all warned. I wanted to bring up that story at this point because Chopin and looks like Beethoven, the winner will not have lost the whole time. If so, somehow the winner of the losers bracket beats the winner of the winner bracket, you have to do a rematch to see if, because you have to lose twice. So even these people here have never lost, they have to lose twice. So, all right. Good night to those of you who are going to bed. But we just had our most votes ever. So we are rocking here. Beethoven beat Bach. That is going to be the most commented thing, I guarantee you. Beethoven's worse than Bach. Blah, 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 blah. All these people will come out and start screaming in the comment section, but it's fine. I would vote for Beethoven, for sure, but I also understand Bach is one of the greats. Debussy's gone. Debussy lost to Tchaikovsky, which makes sense for non-pianists. It's kind of crazy for a piano player, but Debussy's gone. He lost early, and then he beat Ravel somehow, because he lost to Ravel last time I did one of these things. And then he lost to Tchaikovsky. So, you know, the voters really came out there. So we will have, at some moment, Chopin versus Beethoven. But before we do that, we got to fill in some of these ones we haven't done down here. So we have to do Mozart versus Tchaikovsky. I feel like we've already done this matchup, but I guess we haven't. I'm really out of sorts now because the thing was saying to go top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Then one of you pointed out that, well, actually the order's now changed at the end. And now it's weird because I'm doing the losers bracket and some things are already filled in. Very disturbing. I don't know why we had to change that. But, all right. Mozart versus Tchaikovsky. I think you guys are going to vote for Mozart. That would be my assumption, but you know, should I play Tchaikovsky to try to sway you over? I don't know any. Yes. You had to change your channel your anger. I'm so happy Beethoven won. Beethoven's my favorite composer, in case somehow you're new to the channel. I love Beethoven. Elijah, that was the most heartfelt farewell to Vienna ever. She was your partner in crime, trying to convince the crowd to go for Rachmaninoff. She stayed up late just to try to get Rachmaninoff to win, and you lost your partner in crime. But I guess you lost Rachmaninoff's not out of it. Rachmaninoff could win out the losers bracket, then get a rematch against the winner of Chopin and Beethoven. That's all possible. That's how double elimination works. So, you know, maybe out of pity, people will vote for him the second time or something like that. So, it looks like Mozart's going to win. Yeah, this one's not really going to be close. Sorry, Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky's great. But I think almost everyone in the world would agree. This isn't one that matters if you're a piano player or not a piano player. I think that most orchestra members are also going to say Mozart is greater than Tchaikovsky. And then piano players, obviously, say Mozart's greater than Tchaikovsky. So we have Grieg versus Schubert voting for a right to lose to Rachmaninoff. Grieg versus Shu. Grieg has had, Joplin had a great run. Joplin's been the most underrated guy that made it far, but Grieg has had one of the best losers brackets run. Grieg lost in the second round, but then he beat Field, he beat Haydn, he beat Handel, and now it's going against Schubert. Now he'll probably lose to Schubert, but he's had like the most shocking run where he got kicked down to the losers bracket really early. He's still kicking. Grieg is still kicking. So let's do it. Grieg versus Schubert. I'm going to take a drink of water because I forgot to stop drinking water. Oh man, poor Grieg. Do I start playing this concerto to convince you guys? You could either say what someone said earlier, Schubert doesn't even finish his symphonies, or you could say Schubert's unfinished pieces are even better than Grieg's finished pieces. Yeah, looks like Schubert's going to crush him, which is fine. I think Schubert's greater than Grieg as well, but I'm super happy Grieg made it so far. He made it really, really far. So now we have to look at the numbers. That was 56. It wants us to stay in the losers bracket. I'm sure this is like a sports website. I'm sure there's a really good reason for this as far as matchup goes and like scheduling, like tournaments. I'm sure there's a really good reason. We're just going to stick with their system and do their numbering. So we're still in the losers bracket. We're saving Chopin and Beethoven. It looks like we're saving that matchup till we get a few more of these done down here. So we're going to have to save it until we figure out the winner of these rounds. So we're just going to trust the people, because people who sports and stuff really know, they really know their bracket. So let's see. Bach versus Mozart. You really can't get any more classic than this, because I would say if you ask a non-musician who's the greatest composer of all time, a lot of people would say Bach or Mozart. And people who don't know anything about music, they might not know, they might have heard of Chopin, but most people are going to say Bach and Mozart. Some might say Beethoven, but I would say your two most common answers are probably Bach and Mozart. So this is like a classic matchup of two of the greatest composers ever, 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 ever. So I actually don't know who's going to win. Neither one would surprise me. So let's see what happens. Let's see. Schubert gave up at 31. It actually is really sad. I kind of wish Schubert had, even someone like I had to ask myself, would Schubert have been greater than Beethoven if they both lived 57 years? Maybe, right? Maybe he would have been. It's hard to know. That's the thing when someone like him dies younger. You'll never really know. I was reading about Mendelssohn because it's video tomorrow. Dying. He died at 30. I don't remember if he had his birthday yet, but 38 maybe. What I didn't know was that his sister died in a very similar situation with maybe brain bleeding. This is really dark. Sorry guys. Like aneurysm sort of thing. His grandpa, who was a Jewish philosopher, I guess, and both of his parents, all died seemingly under similar things, similar ages. I was like, I was looking at his death, and there's medical articles written about it, like people doing research about a weird genetic trait that might have existed. So I was like, crazy stuff, right? So that was my joy this week. I was like, oh yay, death. So, but it was really sad because Mendelssohn knew he was dying for a while and was very sad about it, and just why is life fading so quick? And I was like, wow, this is really depressing. All right, Bach. We have a Bach revival, guys. Bach is being revived. We're kind of like Mendelssohn here. We got Bach revival. Bach beat Mozart. I would say more people listen to Mozart than Bach. Probably more people consider Bach greater than Mozart. Very interesting matchup. All right. Vienna would be very sad she's missing this. He was cursed. I don't know. You mean really cursed or just cursed? Whatever it is, it was very weird. Very weird. It's odd to look at a composer, search for him, and then what comes up was legitimate long medical articles written, research papers. It's not what you expect. You know, research, why did Beethoven die? And you get all these crazy theories, and people are like, well, I heard from one person who heard from someone who wrote down here that this person did this. And you're like, okay, how did Mozart die? Oh, he was killed. He died of this. He died of this. And it was weird to how did Mendelssohn die? And it was you want to read a real article? I was like, oh. And then it was like a medical article. Have you ever read like a real medical article? And it immediately just jumps into like stuff that's too dense. And I was like, oh wow, that's complicated. So, all right, we got a rock versus a shoe. There's a history here. Way up here, way up here. There's a history. Schubert lost to none other than Rachmaninoff. He was thrown to the losers bracket, but he has done so well in the losers bracket, winning everything, obviously in the losers bracket. He now is forced to go against Rachmaninoff again, and that's the nature of like the top people. They play each other possibly multiple times, so it didn't go well for Rachmaninoff or for Schubert last time. So let's see here. Maybe Schubert will win. Beethoven teaches you to be a bee? To be a, what's that mean? Mendelssohn didn't like Chopin's Funeral March? Really? Chopin's Funeral March is 1,000 times better than Mendelssohn's Funeral March. No, this is Schubert, not Schumann. Okay, yeah. Apparently, Chopin and Mendelssohn wrote a lot of letters to each other, which I think I knew they knew each other, but I didn't realize that we actually have many of these letters today. So it's kind of funny to hear them talk about like bash Liszt together, talk about how Liszt is not as good as them. So kind of funny. All right, guys, even if you accidentally voted for Schubert, you're fine. Rachmaninoff has definitely won. I was reading about a pianist named Thalberg recently, but Thalberg, and Chopin wrote a letter to Mendelssohn comparing Thalberg to Liszt. I was like, well, he's more like a Liszt type of person who cares more about the pianistic flash than the composition. I was like, oh man, Chopin's gonna make a lot of people mad with that comment. So, all right, so we just did matchup 57, 58. Now we swing back up and we do, I guess you do this matchup now, Chopin versus Beethoven, because it's not the final matchup. We're going to do Chopin versus Beethoven. Then we're going to determine the winner. Oh, I see, because we have to know who loses, because whoever loses is going to have another shot at the losers bracket. This makes sense to me. It's all kind of coming together here. But Chopin versus Beethoven, the losers, not out. This looks like the final matchup of the whole thing, but it's not, because someone else still has a chance. They'll go to the losers bracket. They might even win the losers bracket, and then do a revive, get their hearts back, and come back up here and compete again. So Chopin versus Beethoven, really the hardest matchup possible, in my opinion. I can't pick between the two. I mean, I can. I like Beethoven more, but I also can't not pick Chopin, because as a piano player, Chopin's perfect. He is like the perfect person for a piano player. So I literally can't decide between the two, but I like Beethoven more. I can't decide, if you know what I mean. For a second, it glitched and said 100% Chopin. I was like, whoa, this is close. Wow. Vote now, people. Vote now. I don't know. Pound. Who said sorry, Ryan? Not even close. Looks pretty close to me. Chopin for the win. I mean, so here's the thing. If you're rating who is a greater composer, like greater at the skill of composition, I think it's obviously Beethoven. Okay? Like, this is coming from someone who would say Chopin is my second favorite composer. I think if you're rating compositional skill, contribution, and like breadth of skill, I think it's obviously Beethoven. If you're rating what the person did for a piano player, it's insane that it can be anyone not Beethoven, because Beethoven provided so much for us. But the only other person you could choose would be Chopin, really, because he provided so much for piano and exclusively piano. And I think that's why it's so hard. So, yeah, the Blods are awesome. I don't have any issue with people saying Chopin is the greatest composer of all time, because I think he's great. I think if you're just rating them based off skill at composition, I would probably say Beethoven is a more skilled composer and also had more variety in like his instrumentation. So he's more like broadly skilled. That doesn't mean you have to like Beethoven more. I'm just saying that's what I think is more obvious. But if you're just rating which one do I like more, it's really tricky. They're my top two. Like if I had to only have two composers, I would definitely pick those two. I love Bach, I love Mozart, I love Haydn. But if you only and Rachmaninoff, but if you only gave me two, you only gave me two composers, it would be such an easy pick. It would be those two composers. They also have so much piano music. You could keep you happy for like a lifetime. You could keep studying Chopin and Beethoven for a long time. Whereas, like I mentioned earlier, someone like Handel, if you love the Handel piano music, you're going to run out. You can run out literally of piano music for Handel. You're probably not going to run out of Chopin and Beethoven. However, looks like Chopin won. It's 2 votes. He's up 2 votes, so I'm fine with calling it. But yeah, it's tricky. Not Liszt. Definitely not Liszt. I wouldn't put Liszt in the conversation. I put Chopin in there, but okay. It's challenging. I'm a little sad to see Beethoven lose one. But he lost to a worthy opponent. I mean, if you guys would have said Beethoven lost to like Debussy, or you would have said Beethoven lost to Messiaen, I would have just like ended the live stream. But I mean, seriously, Chopin had a little more just, well, how about this? I might rather listen to someone else play Chopin than someone else play Beethoven. But if I'm playing it for myself, it's probably definitely Beethoven. I'd probably rather listen to someone else play Beethoven as well. But okay, that was matchup number 59. Now remember, Chopin did not win the whole thing. You think Chopin has now won? You are wrong. Beethoven now comes down to the losers bracket, and he is going to play the winner of Bach versus Rock. So everyone has to lose twice. Bach and Rachmaninoff, actually everyone down here's lost once, right? So Bach, Rachmaninoff, and Beethoven have all lost one time. The Bach and Rock have to play first because Beethoven made it longer in the first bracket. That's how the way that works. Stop with all the craziness, guys. Scriabin and Liszt are not close to Chopin and Beethoven. I was all nice to Liszt earlier because Liszt is one of the greatest composers ever, but not close to Chopin or Beethoven. So, all right, Bach Rock. It even has great rhyming, guys. Bach Rock. Or we could say Bach Rock or Bach Rock. So, actually, I don't know who's going to win this. Because you guys really voted for Bach earlier when Bach went against Mozart. You really voted for Bach. So, I don't know. Look, you can say I had the worst take on Liszt. I just said Liszt was great. I don't even know who you are, but Liszt is great. Liszt is great. I say Liszt is great, but at the same time, the chat will not agree with you because Liszt got crushed by Mozart. And Liszt up here, didn't Liszt literally go against, wait, who would Liszt go against? Where's Liszt? Guys, help me. Help me. I can't find Liszt. Did Liszt go against Chopin up here? I don't remember. I can't find Liszt. There's no list of Liszt. What's wrong with my eyesight? What's wrong with me? Falling apart, guys. Liszt. Yeah, Liszt lost. Liszt lost to Bach. So Liszt is great. I love Liszt. I love Liszt. Don't hear me saying, this is what happens when you say anything online. People say, I heard him say that Liszt wasn't as good as Beethoven and he hates him. I love Liszt, but Liszt didn't make it that far in the list. All right, Rock versus Bach. We're not focused on Liszt. Liszt is gone. Liszt is great. Guys, Liszt is great. Great. But he's not close to Beethoven or Chopin, in my opinion. Bach versus Rock. I didn't say Liszt was overrated. See, that's the thing. If I say Liszt isn't as good as Beethoven, and people say you think Liszt is overrated, I don't think he's overrated. I think Liszt is great. I think Liszt is a great composer. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he would be around my, I don't even know what ranking. He would definitely be in my top 10. Pretty sure. I think Liszt is great. I didn't say he's overrated. I think Liszt is amazing. I just don't think he's close to Beethoven's level or Chopin. So, Bach versus Rock. Oh man, guys. Bach versus Rock. You're going to make Elijah cry. Guys, Bach versus Rock. Well, I mean, I kind of expected Bach to win, but Elijah, you're going to get in touch with Vienna and tell her not to watch the replay. She probably couldn't handle this emotionally. So, like, hey, you don't want to know what happened. Just tell her Rachmaninoff won, and she doesn't have to watch the live stream, and she'll be happy. But hey, Rachmaninoff did great. He won out the rest of the way, won the whole thing, and then she doesn't have to know. Just like be more peaceful. So, if I can do percentages, how funny Brahms win again, Rock. My guy, Brahms guy, eliminated forever ago. So, he wouldn't have been my number one, but one of my favorite composers got eliminated by Liszt. So as much as I make fun of Liszt, he crushed my man. So that's 2 votes. It's 2 votes. So you're going to give it to Bach. I mean, it should be Bach. Bach is maybe, I don't know. That's a really tough matchup, Bach versus Rock. I don't even know who I would vote for. If you ask me like Bach versus Rock right now, I might have a panic attack. I don't know. But we're getting to like the top 5 to 10 composers on the list. So they're all going to be really difficult. All going to be really, 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 really difficult. So, yeah, I'm Beethoven biased. Beethoven's my favorite composer. Don't you have a favorite composer? If it's Beethoven, you'd be really happy. Let's see. Beethoven versus Bach. I think in different polls throughout the years, or the year I've done this, 2 years maybe, Beethoven and Bach has gone back and forth. Sometimes Beethoven wins, sometimes Bach wins. You never know. The first time I did a poll, Beethoven crushed Bach. Then I did favorite. Oh, what I have people vote for? I voted for something different one time, and Bach crushed Beethoven. I was like, wow, I know what you guys think. So Bach versus Beethoven for the right to go up against Chopin. Beethoven versus Bach. Winner goes up against Chopin. It's close. It's tied. It's close. It's tied. Beethoven's up by 1. It's so close. It's so close. Oh man, crazy. Oh, Beethoven's up by 2. I won't call it yet. I'll look away for a second. I won't try to be influenced too much by the votes right now. But man, this is crazy. I mean, Beethoven versus Bach for the right to go up against Chopin. So our ending 3. It's hard to say the ending 3 because the way there's losers and winners. But we kind of had Rachmaninoff, Chopin, Beethoven, Bach, and then Rachmaninoff, Chopin, Beethoven, Bach were the top one. So who was our composer who did the best in the losers bracket? I guess all the losers got eliminated pretty quickly, except Bach did okay. So I'm going to look back at it. Okay. Wow. Whoa, guys. That's crazy. When I looked away, it was within 1 vote. And then I just came back and Beethoven's crushing it. Wow. I'm shocked. I wouldn't be offended if you guys choose Bach. I like Beethoven more. Practically speaking, but Bach is a top 5 for me. I would not be upset at all if you guys voted for Bach. So I mean, I would be a little sad, don't get me wrong, that my guy was out, but I wouldn't be like, you're wrong, because I get it, right? There are certain composers, if Mozart, Chopin, Rachmaninoff, Beethoven, Bach, I wouldn't be like, what are you guys thinking? Wow, the most votes we've had all night, guys. Beethoven crushing Bach. That's crazy. Beethoven crushing Bach for the ending here. So, it's funny you say Rachmaninoff was not innovative, because I think a lot of people would disagree with you, but if you consider the historical context, a lot of people didn't consider Rachmaninoff innovative. And I think I shared this story last time I did a live stream with Rachmaninoff. Our music lit teacher, who really liked Rachmaninoff, said when he was in college, he wasn't even that old. He's probably 40s or 50s. So he would have been in college in the 80s maybe, right? He wasn't even like in college forever ago. He said when he took piano literature for his graduate degree, his piano lit teacher said, "We are now going to talk about Rachmaninoff." This is what his piano lit teacher said. Rachmaninoff wasn't innovative in any way. Moving on. And that was all. He's like, we're not, basically, he refused to talk about Rachmaninoff because he considered him not innovative in any way. And our teacher was telling us, he said when he was younger, that was like the prevailing thought of lots of the people who were like his teachers, a generation older than him. So that was like very prevalent when he was in college. So it wasn't that long ago. A lot of people considered Rachmaninoff just like, yeah, he's really just kind of stuck in the old ways and stuff, which is crazy, right? It's just crazy to imagine. Or they're like, well, he's a really good piano player, but not a great composer. It just seems insane to us. It's kind of like people who say like Liszt is trash. Not that many years ago, a lot of people would say that. And so we're shocked when someone says Liszt is trash, but it wasn't that long ago that was the prevailing thought. So we have to imagine what if like in 30 years, Scarlatti is considered better than Bach and everyone just accepts that. And we're the old people. We're like, oh, my day, everyone knew Bach was better. And everyone's like, shut up, grandpa. Shut up, grandpa. Everyone knows Scarlatti is better than Bach. Nah, we think Bach is more interesting. We're like, no. Scarlatti is better. And everyone said that would be really hard to adjust to. So it wasn't that many years ago. Yeah, rock is great. I think that's crazy. People didn't like Rachmaninoff. And that was kind of what my teacher was saying. He's like, we were like, what are you talking about? And he was like, that's what we learned in college. But it's crazy. But again, it seems crazy now because we don't have that thought, but just imagine a future universe where everyone just says Scarlatti's better than Bach. How shocked we would be living in that world. But what if everyone thought that? Was like, yeah, Bach was just a little too complicated. Everyone just prefers Scarlatti's fun. You're like, okay, his crazy chords more. So it seems crazy, but it's what people said. So it also is a good reminder not to go along with the trends. I mean, maybe Schoenberg is secretly great and I'm just wrong about him. So I'll be proved wrong someday. Okay. The final matchup. Here's the thing. Chopin versus Beethoven. Chopin has had a perfect record. Chopin beat Sun Tzu, and then Chopin crushed Grieg, and then he beat Mozart, barely beat Bach, beat Beethoven. He's actually had really hard matchups. Like Chopin might have like the hardest matchups. I mean, the first matchup wasn't hard, but then Grieg is somewhat legit. And then Mozart, Bach, Beethoven. And what he has to do is he's going against Beethoven. If Beethoven wins, we have to have another round immediately afterwards because Chopin has to lose twice. If Chopin wins, he wins straight out. Beethoven's already lost once. Beethoven had to come back down to the loser's bracket, win the loser's bracket. So this could be the absolute final matchup, or there could be one more depending on how you guys vote. So let's do it. Chopin versus Beethoven. 3, 2, 1. I've not been paying attention to the chat while I was telling my Rachmaninoff story. So if everyone's like, you're wrong. I don't know. This is fun. Even if Beethoven doesn't win in the end, this has been a super fun live stream. I like the double elimination. I might not have quite so many people next time I do double elimination. And not have a 3-hour live stream, but this has been epic. Has anyone been here the whole time? Let me know. Let me know if anyone's been here the whole time. I'm trying to look at your guys' names. Yes. Moy's been here the whole time. Elijah was here pretty early on, I know. Elijah's here pretty early on, so. All right, guys, if you want this to survive another matchup, you're going to have to vote 2 votes for Beethoven real quick here, but looks like Chopin's pulling away. Yeah. I think last time we did this, didn't Chopin lose to Bach and then Beethoven beat Bach? Pretty sure. I think so. So, I mean, yeah, Diamond Spider, you've been around like most of the time. Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. Rachmaninoff, Chopin, Beethoven, Mozart, Bach. They're great. They're great. I mean, we're talking about the best composers in a 200-year span. If you look at the top 5 artists from this last year in the pop music world, maybe one of them at best is as popular as these guys are going to be all time. So they're all really, really good. It just so happens that Modest Mussorgsky is the real winner. No, I took out Mussorgsky because you guys voted for him as a wild card last time, and he got crushed. So no Mussorgsky. All right, I just came back. Every time I click off the poll to look at my, bracket, then I come back, more votes show up for Beethoven. So maybe I need to keep clicking off. Maybe I need to keep clicking off of it. Hopefully Beethoven keeps me. It's tied now. It's tied. Wow. Would you really like Mussorgsky? Is that like a joke, Elijah? Or do you really like... Now sight read Chopin to reward. What Chopin should I sight read? I didn't do Wagner because I didn't have a lot of spots. And I want to stick with composers who at least have some famous piano output for the most part. Yes, for the most part. So, yes, Engelbert Humperdinck is the best ever. So Wagner, and also I feel like if I do Wagner, I might need to do Verdi and Rossini, and there's just not a lot of spots. So I was like, I don't know. So, yeah. Did you guys know there's a singer named Humperdinck? I didn't know this. I mentioned Humperdinck in a video. It was a joke, and I Googled Humperdinck, and it was like, you mean the singer? And I was like, who? I guess there's a singer who was struggling with fame, and he changed his name to Engelbert Humperdinck, and as that kind of had to become famous because it's such a catchy name, and it worked, and he became famous. So, like, whoa. Well, guys, looks like Chopin has it. He's the best looking. Mussorgsky. We should do another looks poll. We did like a hair poll. Who has the best hair? Hopefully you guys were all there for that. That was hilarious. But it would be funny. Like, I thought about doing a poll, like doing the same idea with brackets, but with their pictures, and like, who would you trust with your kids? Who would you trust with your little brother, your little sister, Just because so many of the composers look like, I think that'd be so funny. Who are you most likely to trust with your family? Or who are you likely to trust, driving your mom home or something, that'd be a hilarious poll. So, all right, 40 votes. That is the record for the night. We are going to give it to the showman. The Chopin has now officially defeated Beethoven. And that's impressive because, like I said earlier, he had a rough go. He beat a pretty weak entry at the beginning. Then he had to beat Grieg. I mean, he beat, actually, not counting Saint-Saëns, he beat all top 10 composers for me. I know Grieg is in most people's top 10. He beat Mozart, who's a top 10 for like everyone. Rachmaninoff, who's a top 10 for everyone. And then had to beat Beethoven twice. So kind of crazy. I wonder if he would beat Bach. Because sometimes composers from vastly different eras perform in weird ways against each other. So that was awesome. That's a lot of fun. Hey, before you guys get off, real quick in the chat, tell me which live stream you'd like to see the most next. I'm not opposed to redoing old ideas. So if you want to redo an old idea, throw it out there before you get off and say, hey, we should do this. I don't think I'm going to sight read a Nocturne because I can't sight read a Nocturne because I played them all. That's actually not quite true. But I could definitely lie and say I'm sight reading one that I've played before. That would be that's the kind of YouTuber I need to be. Like, I need to make a video of myself sight reading Chopin Nocturnes and only do Nocturnes that I've actually played or know pretty well already. That would be awesome. So, okay, it's been fun. It's been very fun. Thank you all for hanging out for a bit. I have very much enjoyed staying up late and streaming for 3 hours. Give me some fun ideas. If we have some fun ideas in the future, I'm up for doing more live streams. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. I practice. If you guys enjoyed watching me practice last time, I can do that. Or, you know, if you really do want me to do some more, you know, can do that too. So obscure composers competition. That would be fun, except everyone would be like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? I'll do Tallberg and stuff I learned about. So, all right, it's been real. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the hearts and everything. You guys have been awesome. YouTube is like, a lot of people have liked your video and clicked the buttons and everything. Good job. So thank you. I will see you all in a future video.